How does it make you feel? You know, you are literally changing the world through resources, time, money, attention, and yet you get criticized so much as well.
Oh, you're just jumping right into that. It's impossible at this scale to make a piece of content that 100 million people will all conventionally be like, this is perfect. You'll go crazy and quit if you try to make everyone happy.
The most followed individual on social media.
He's the most watched person on YouTube.
Shattering viewership records.
We're talking about Jimmy Donaldson, but you probably know him as Mr. Beast.
You said, do I want to create content that's different than what the algorithm wants? What you're actually asking me is there every time you want to create content that's different than what people want to watch?
Yes.
And the question is no, because I get joy out of entertaining people. Like, that's why I'm doing this. I don't want to make content people don't want to watch. And maybe, you know, artsy people might see this and be like, and want to throw up. But in my case, like, I deeply enjoy entertaining people.
That's pretty cool.
I don't think people realize just how much effort it took to be here. Like, a lot of people will say it's luck, but it's like, was it luck that I spent 1,000 days in a row analyzing why videos perform better than others? I mean, point to one person who's put 1/10 of the amount of time into this that I have and didn't become successful. The saying is like, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I think the saying should be, it takes 100,000 hours to master something.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your mental or emotional health?
Yeah.
And what is your definition of success then? I want to share a few things that you've done to really change the world in a powerful way.
I'm going to just close my ears. I don't like hearing people talk positively about me. Go for it.
This is what has been done online that I've seen of you. This maybe is different by now, but this is the stats. Over 23 million trees planted with Team Trees. With Team Seas, 33 million pounds of trash removed.
Yep.
With Beast Philanthropy, over 50 million pounds of food, 42 million meals, 7.7 million people fed, many other things that you've done to help people through that. You have over 414 million subs. By the time this comes out, it's probably 450 million subs on YouTube. And with Team Water, you are aiming to raise $40 million to bring clean water access to 2 million people around the world for decades to come.
Yep.
And you do so much good in the world, and yet you get criticized so much as well.
Oh, you're just jumping right into that.
And I read a tweet of yours, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, that said, you know, something along the lines of, there are tons of people that will never volunteer for anything, that will never donate $1, and yet they still criticize me for all the good that I do.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel to know that you are literally changing the world through resources, time, money, attention to serve humanity, and yet people still criticize you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fun one to start off on. I mean, the more I think about it, the thing is, my audience is so big. Like, we get 150, 200 million views a main channel video, which when you think in terms of humans alive, you know, there's 8 billion humans, 1% of that's 80 million. Like, more than 1% of people on the earth, you know, are watching every single video we make. And so it's impossible at this scale to make a piece of content that, you know, 100 million people will all conventionally be like, this is perfect, because there's different cultures, different languages, people are raised differently. So it's more, what I look at is like, what is the percentage of that 100 million that are happy with what I do versus mad? And like, you know, if 99.5% are like, this is amazing, and they're on board, and, you know, it inspires them to go do good, but and only 0.5% are like negative. Well, because my audience is so large, that 0.5% is larger than most people's online following. So it can seem really loud, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, when you look at it percentage-wise, it's really not that big of a deal. Right. So I think at the start, like, one of the big ones is we helped 1,000 blind people see again through cataract surgeries, and we did it all around the world. And people are very vocal about that. For whatever reason,
they didn't like it.
Well, they're just like, well, why don't you help them off camera? And I was like, well, we use the videos and the brand deals and ad revenue to do it. Like, I mean, if I didn't make a video on it, we just wouldn't be able to do it, because that's, you know, over the course of our channel, we spent, you know, tens of millions of dollars on helping people. And so, and most people, after I said that, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you have, so it's just looking at it from a percentage standpoint, that helps, but it's still like kind of funny at the same time. But I'm just going to do it. I mean, even if 50% of people complained, I mean, it's just like,
you'd still do it.
Yeah, why not?
Does it affect you in any way when you see it, or are you just like, it's part of the game, I understand it, and I'm going to keep doing my thing?
Well, to be fair, not all criticism is invalid. Like, sometimes people would be like, you know, you make these video on helping people, but you don't, this is one I used to get back in the day, but you don't really give the viewers that act like a way to go further on and do more. And like that is a valid criticism. So now we try to, direct them towards like, here's how you could actually do help. Like we just recently did a video where we gave 2,000 people prosthetic legs that didn't have legs so they could walk again. And in the middle, we did a whole segment about how if you know someone who grew out of their prosthetic legs, which is pretty frequent, like if you get one at a young age, through puberty, you're going through multiple different ones. And then people just don't know what to do with the old ones. And there's a clinic who literally takes recycled prosthetic legs, fixes them up, which is like dirt cheap, and then gives them to the poorest of people who can't afford one. So something that would have cost someone $5,000, they can now get for like $100 because it was just something that someone was going to throw away. And so like that was an example of like, here we're helping people, and then we're also telling the 100 million people watching how they could help. And I mean, it seems obvious in hindsight, but that was a version of people saying things, and I applied it, and it was a net positive. So it's that's really what you have to do is like when you get a bunch of criticism, if you're at my scale, you just look at it. Majority of it is just going to be people hating because people are miserable in their own life. They're just going to complain. And so if someone leaves a comment like, you should kill yourself, this sucks, do you even put effort in? That's not an objective comment. That's like a thing that you should read and just be like, okay, like delete, that was worthless. But if someone is like, hey, here's some ways I think you could improve, or some way you could have, helped people in this situation better, blah, blah, that's like an objective comment, which of the bucket of hate comments is going to be a very small percentage. And those are the ones you look at and you're like, is there truth to this? Yes. Okay. Consider. If not, throw it out, and then you just move on.
Yeah. So you look at some of the criticism or the feedback and you apply it if it's relevant.
Yeah, I look at all of it with that angle. And because like at the end of the day, I will never say my videos are perfect. You know what I mean? None of us are perfect. Even your podcast probably has ways it could be better. So it's there's no reason not to.
100%. Yeah. So you don't take it personally then.
That's back when I was younger, yes, because I've been doing this.
Every comment you're like, I worked so hard on this.
Yeah. I started when I was 11. I'm 27 now. So in my teenage years, like even if someone said something that wasn't objective, like kill yourself, your videos suck, that would hurt. Like it would hurt a lot. I'd be like, man, I would think like I put 50 hours into this, and no one else is doing things like this, and it would hurt my feelings. But then after you get that millions of times, it's like a muscle. Like your brain kind of gets used to that stuff, and you just like, I'm like so numb to it. You could leave the nastiest comment on my YouTube video about me, and it's like my brain's just like, it's not objective, delete, and I just move on. Which part of that is I've just been exposed to it for I've been doing this for more than half my life, so I've just been exposed to so much of it. And the other part is you just eventually realize like it just is pointless. Like you're never gonna make everyone happy, and so you just figure out where the line is. And if you're content and happy with it, and majority of people who watch it are happy with the piece of content you put out, what else can you do? What I mean? You'll go crazy and quit if you try to make everyone happy.
For the younger creators who look at you as an inspiration, because millions of people do, probably billions of people do, and who want to be like you or want to create their own YouTube channel or create content in some way, what advice would you give to them if they're getting lots of negative criticism, or if they're getting personal attacks about the way they look or the way they speak? Maybe not just, you're an idiot, die, but like, oh, you look ugly.
Yeah.
Or you sound like a dummy. Like, what advice do you have?
I'm the perfect one for that. Because when I was a teenager, I had horrible acne. I mean, I still have some acne scars on my forehead from it because no one told me not to pick my pimples. In hindsight, don't pick your pimples. It's obvious, but no one told me that. I had horrible acne, and I was so awkward. I couldn't speak in coherent sentences. I mean, it's a miracle that I'm the #1 YouTuber in the world. If you look at 15-year-old me, no one on the planet would have ever guessed I'd even be 1%.
That's going to be the guy.
It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, truthfully, it's just you can't be someone you're not. But you also are who you hang around. And so as I've hung around more normal humans and less data nerds, I've learned how to form a sentence and not just speak in retention charts, which, because at that point in my life, everyone I was around was just hardcore studying YouTube and studying thumbnails. And now, because I have hundreds of employees, I have more exposure to people who actually go outside and live normal lives. And so I'm more up to date with certain things like that. So, usually like do what you can, work out, get lean. For me with acne, I took Accutane, and then once you do what you can, I mean, it just is what it is. Like my teeth could be better, or my hair, like whatever. There are random things that could be, but at that point, just ignore it because there's nothing you can really do about it.
Is there any strategies you had around navigating either the mental or emotional side of the critiques, like that you would give to younger audiences, as opposed to just get jacked, get lean?
Yeah, no, it's what I was saying earlier. It's just, is it objective, and is it something in your control? Then consider it. But most criticism's not, and you just have to learn to filter it out and ignore it. Like that's just the big part. Like it was, and it's easier said than done. It took me probably close to a decade to form that mental toughness. But like, you should be able to read a non-objective comment like, I hate you, you suck, and just feel nothing in a perfect world and move on, because having an emotional reaction to that does nothing for you. You know what I mean? And like, fine, if you have theoretically, you know, if you're getting 100,000 views a video and you're getting 300 negative comments, right? Assuming you make a good video.
Small percentage.
Yeah. Then of that 300, filter out the 250 that are probably just bullshit. And then the 50 that are actually objective, consider them, because no video is perfect, and there's lots of you should take from both sides of the spectrum. Your most hardcore fans that love you, you should see what they have, which is probably going to be something more like, hey, we want more personality, things like that people who like you would say. And then you should also take feedback from the people who hate you the most, because they still have pretty valid feedback quite a bit of times that, you know, people who don't watch you every single time might have a different viewpoint on your videos.
Yeah. Speaking of criticism, again, you get a lot of it. And I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with just in their personal lives, whether it's online or their friends or people.
It's funny because people, like, a lot of your audience isn't going to know who I am, and they're going to think like, everyone hates me.
No. Yeah. It's a very small percentage, but I know you talk about it like, I do all this good, but people still criticize me, right?
Yeah.
So
I just threw that tweet out on a whim, but yeah.
But I think it's valid though, because you're calling out people that critics, no one ever built a statue for a critic. I think that's a quote or something. It's like,
it's a good quote.
And it's also, critics usually aren't creators, because I remember when I wrote my first book 10 years ago, I remember how hard it was, and I put it out there and I got a few like negative reviews, and I was like, who are these people? And you go and research them and you realize they're not doing the thing they want to do.
Yeah.
And so they're upset, frustrated. They want to do the thing you're doing, but they're not doing it. So most creators are not critics of other creators. You're usually like, okay, maybe you don't like the person or you have a rivalry or something, but you're not going to be negatively sending comments.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, all right, he's working hard or she's working hard.
I don't know. I'm pretty critical of my creative friends.
Okay. Well,
every time they upload a bad video, I call them. I'm like, bro, you're better than this. What are you doing?
That's positive feedback.
Okay.
This is not like some troll. You're not a troll.
Yeah. It's not, hey, what the f***, you're lazy.
Yeah. You're supportive in your criticism, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that just won't show their face with a criticism.
Yeah.
And they're not doing the thing they want to be doing. And my question for you is, what impacts you more? Other people criticizing you or your own criticism of yourself?
Other people well, I mean, at the end of the day, like I am my biggest critic. Like that's why the videos are where they are, because I hold them to the highest bar in the universe, higher than any other creator. And I think I enjoy reading a bunch of criticism. Like once I filter down the objective ones, I try to, you know, see if there's anything I can derive from it. But at the end of the day, like I'm not going to change anything just because I see one comment about it. It's more, is it an inspiration of something I never thought before. And once I start thinking on it, do I actually think that'll make the content better or improve me as a person or whatever? And that's why I apply it. But even if 10,000 people left the same exact complaint on a video, I wouldn't change anything unless I wholeheartedly agreed with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a bigger critic than anyone else.
Oh yeah.
You're like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you've made it with 400 plus million subscribers and all the impact you've made?
No. But because I'm 27 and every year we're making better videos and stuff. So, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind when I'm 37 and 47 and 57 will be, exponentially better than we are now.
There's a video you have almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When you were...
Oh, did you see my tweet about that? Yeah. Wait, can I explain this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have the video too.
Oh, well, you have...
I think I have the video.
You have Jaime in 5 years.
Yes.
So when I was 17 years old, to everyone listening, I just like got home after history, or I was studying for a history test, bored out of my mind. I hated school. I hated it with a passion.
Me too.
My mom's like, go in your room and study, and locking me in there. And I just was like, you know what? I turned my phone on and I recorded a video and I said, Jaime in a year, on this YouTube channel in a year, I think I'll have blank subscribers. Then I hit stop recording and I hit record and I was like, Jaime in 5 years, and YouTube has a feature where you can upload a video and schedule what date it goes live. So I uploaded this video.
Scheduled it.
Yeah, private, and it scheduled it for exactly 5 years from that day later. And in that video, I'm like, Jaime in 5 years, and I tried to predict how big the channel will be, and I was way off on that one. And then
you had 8,000 subscribers at the time. You're like, I hope I have 1 million subs.
Exactly. Something like that's what I said in the Jaime in 5 years. And so I'm 27 now. I did this when I was 17. It's been 9 years and 10 months.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
To the date.
So 2 months, and Jaime in 10 years will go live. So when I had 8,000,
no way.
Yeah, when I had 8,000 subscribers, I'm in my room talking to my phone. I look like a little child. I don't have a beer because
You're sitting down on the ground. There's like a desk behind you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like a wooden shelf behind me, and I'm 17 years old, still in high school, 8,000 subscribers, and I'm like, when you see this video, it's 10 years in the future. And here's how many subscribers I think I'll have. And that goes live in 2 months. And I have 420 million subscribers now. and I tried to predict when I had 8,000,
What'd
you know,
you
what it'd
think?
be. Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's way off. Yeah, there's no way.
You
it's
said, I hope
accurate.
I have 1 million in 4 years. You're like, I really hope I have 1 million, or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
What did you have in 5 years? Do you remember?
No, I have no clue. I was probably like 20 million.
5 years ago? It was
Yeah,
about 29?
5 years ago is when we did Team Trees, which was 20 million trees to hit 20 million subscribers. So yeah, 20
Wow.
million. Yeah.
So you were like 20x what you thought you would get
Yeah.
in 5 years. What do you think you said in 10 years? 5 million? You don't know.
Yeah, I probably said something like, "I hope I'm just doing it as a job." You know,
I remember.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You said that in the first video too.
Yeah, that was like a big thing for me. It's like, yeah, at 8,000 subscribers, you're just, yeah. At that point, I was about to graduate high school, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "A YouTuber," and they're like, "You're crazy. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
My mom is like losing her mind, thinking she just wasted her life raising me. Everyone around me is like, "What is this deranged pimple freak doing?" Like, there's no shot he's gonna be a YouTuber, and like. So it was more, I just wanted to be a YouTuber. That was, at that time, that was all I wanted, because I was like terrified I'd get out of high school and then
Wow.
not make money, you know?
Wow. If you could go back to right before you shot that video 10
Yeah.
years ago, and you could sit down in front of your 17-year-old self
Yeah.
on the ground with like the, little desk behind you and a history test the next day.
Yeah.
And if you could give 3 pieces of advice to your 17-year-old self,
I know what the first one would be.
what would it be?
Buy Bitcoin and hold it up and have the wallet locked until 10 years later.
Let's go, man.
You know how crazy
You're
that'd be?
making money right now.
It was probably like $1,000 back then. Imagine, well, I didn't
Oh
have
my
any money,
gosh.
so I wouldn't have been able
Yeah,
to. But yeah, I would just, I would take that time to give myself advice, which is just
That's
like,
what I'm saying. What would you say
Yeah.
advice to your younger self?
it'd be similar to what I tell a lot of younger creators and entrepreneurs is like, whatever time frame you think it's going to take to achieve something, it's probably going to take 3 times longer, you know? And so if you think it's going to take 2 years to hit 1 million subscribers, it's probably going to take like 6, 7, 8, 9.
Unless you're Mr. Beast.
Yeah, no, even for me, I started at 11. It didn't happen until I was in my 20s or whatever, 19. And so it's just, it's why like Steve Jobs says, you got to love what you do.
Yeah.
And that's like, yes, you can think of, everyone always like points to a little outlier who did it in a year or whatever. But statistically, you're not going to be that outlier. And so it's just going to take you a very long time. And if you're just not deeply in love with what you do, you're going to quit before you achieve it.
Okay, so that's the first thing. I like that.
And that would be the advice I give to people. And it's what I ended up doing, but I would just be like, yo, just, the only way to improve is just to keep doing it. So the more videos you upload, the smarter the people you surround yourself with, the better you'll be. I didn't meet other freaks that are obsessed with YouTube till I was like 19. So like when I was 17, 18 or 11 to 18, I was basically just like, I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. It was pretty brutal. And I like to tell this story because, if parents are out there or younger kids hear this, it's like, yeah, when you love something deeply and you devote your life towards it and no one else around you does, you feel like a freak, you feel like an outcast, and it causes a lot of self-doubt that's not really needed. And, and your parents telling you you're wasting time, everyone's telling you you're wasting your time, and it makes it, very tempting to just quit and do other stuff, but nothing makes you as fulfilled with that. And like, it's just your environment. Like, cause the second I got around, I ended up bumping into like these 3 other guys online, that had similar subscriber counts as me when I was 18, 19. And that was it. Like, I went from people literally asking me if I was mute because I talk so little, and like them saying, shut up, all you do is talk about YouTube and what's wrong with you, be realistic, blah, blah, to we literally had a mastermind call every day for 1,000 days in a row.
That's cool.
Yeah, I told this story on Joe Rogan. People don't believe me. I get tons of messages like, you didn't do that. But yeah, I met these other guys, and for once in my life, like, I could talk to them. We, no joke, like had a Skype call for 18 hours. And I went from like not being able to hold a 5-minute conversation with a human to being able to talk with guys for 18 hours straight about, studying retention charts and studying why certain videos did well and looking at, hey, these are the 50 best performing videos last week. What did well about them? Why do people click videos? And we could, the only bottleneck was sleep. Like, if it wasn't for sleep, we would probably talk for 1,000 hours straight. You know what I mean? And so, and we did that every single day for 1,000 days in a row. We didn't drink, we didn't do drugs. We didn't talk to women, sometimes not by our own choice, but we didn't.
They didn't talk to you guys.
maybe it was women didn't talk to us, but and we were just like locked in every single day, and we all had around 10,000 subscribers. But then we all hit 1 million subscribers within the same month. So it's like this shows the power of like helping each other.
I tell people all the time, and I've been a part of masterminds for over a decade, that when you can be around other like-minded people, especially when you feel like you're the outcast, whether it be in your family or in your community or like the industry you're in and no one understands you.
Exactly.
Find 2, 5, 10 people that are doing a similar thing and grow together.
Your happiness levels will skyrocket. Everything will skyrocket in your life because it's like, it's just everything from your happiness to your fulfillment to your growth in that subject that you're obsessed over. It's way more fun to work with other people. I don't like working alone. I like to work with other people, but also, with us, we had 4 or 5, it depends on the time of the year, people in it. And, in person C, makes a breakthrough in their videos. He now teaches everyone else, and you're growing together and you're growing exponentially. Like, one of the more relatable stories is there was a month where a guy named Jay made $150,000. He had some videos blow up, and to us, 19, I'm a college dropout. I didn't even really go. I went for 2 weeks to a cheap community college because my mom said go to college or move out the house. I didn't have enough money to move out, so I went for 2 weeks, and then I just lied and I was making videos in the parking lot, and I just had to move out before she got my report card because it's all zeros. And so I'm a college dropout. Another guy was a high school dropout. Another guy was a college dropout. Another guy just graduated high school and parent gave up on him. Another college dropout. So we're all just all in, living and breathing this. It's this or we're working at McDonald's. You know what I mean? That's the mindset. And and one of those guys makes $150,000 in a month, and I was probably making 15 grand. The rest were making 10, 20 grand. And it was just so inspiring to see that's possible. And then to work with them to figure out why did these videos do so well, because you can see how many people click on a video every minute, and he was getting 2 million views in an hour, so it was 30,000 people a minute. It was 500 people a second were clicking on this one video, and we're just staring at it on he's screen sharing on Zoom, and we were so mind blown. But that opens your eyes to what's possible, and I see that, and it's okay, I mean, he's no smarter than me. I actually literally know everything he knows. So why can't I do that? And then everyone in the group starts to think like that, and you think bigger, and then someone makes $250,000 in a month, and it helps expand your mindset. It just in every way. But I think masterminds are more effective when it's not this scheduled thing that everyone has to show up for. It's just when it's just organic. You meet up. Yeah. It's organic. Just these are a bunch of freaks of nature that are just being freaks that work on something every day, and they talk to you because they have no one else to talk to about it. You know what I mean? And I think those are the best kinds. Not hey, it's Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, it's 8:30. We're wrapping up the mastermind. Did everyone get a chance to speak? Yeah.
Support for the School of Greatness comes from Robert Half. Need contract help for those workload peaks and backlog projects? Well, you're not alone. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies surveyed said they will increase their use of contract work. And that's why their recruiters leverage their experience and use award-winning AI to quickly find the skilled candidates that you want. Learn about our specialized talent in finance, accounting, technology, marketing, and legal and administrative support. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. But you believe in the power of masterminds or having a shared group of people adding value to one another, sharing your secrets.
I would go as far as saying, if I never met those guys and did that 1,000 days in a row, instead of 420 million subscribers, I'd be on probably 20 million. It's that marginal of a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take 20 million. Yeah. But it's still you really had leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Because of the collaboration of the group, sharing ideas, learning from each other, being inspired. And I'm hearing you say without a shared mastermind, a collective mindset of helping one another, you wouldn't be as far as you are.
Yeah.
And that takes a specific mindset from you, because most people don't want to share what they're learning.
Yep.
They want to guard their secrets.
Yep.
And that's something you really do well. What I want to acknowledge you, Jimmy, is you're talking about it, whether it's on podcasts, you're creating videos, content about it, you're sharing your secrets. But you can give it all away, but it's so hard to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's people, they still have to do the work. A lot of people aren't willing to do it.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that too. I mean, this works better in our industry as opposed to if you're a software developing company and you gave away the secrets and now someone can just copy your code. Obviously it's not as ideal, but in terms of creating content, I see other content creators as collaborators, not competitors. Yes. And I think the more you help other people in our specific industry, they'll also help you back. And the thing is, there's I think YouTube Shorts, just the vertical videos, are getting 200 billion views a day now. So it's 6 trillion views a month, and long form's getting trillions. There are so many tens of trillions of views a year on YouTube that me helping you improve your YouTube channel. And how many views do you get a year?
I don't know, maybe 15, 20 million a month.
Yeah. So if you're getting 120 million a year, even if 1,000 extra YouTube channel viewership, that has zero impact on me. Literally, there's 100 trillion views to go around. It doesn't matter. So that's once you fully internalize that mindset and you're truly giving to other people, I find it people usually, if I ask them a question, they'll be kind of guarded, and then I'll just go through and just give them 10 years worth of advice and just help. And then, now all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, that's how it is. I'll help you too. And it's like,
exactly.
great. And you develop that relationship with hundreds of people. And then you just always got to make sure you're giving more than you're taking.
100%.
And as long as you do that, like, you're good. And you'll get so much more information just coming into you.
I've always been of that mindset is how can I give first? How can I add value?
Exactly.
How can I serve someone's pain or problem or help them solve something and really not ask for anything? If they want to give back, cool.
Exactly.
But just try to give it first. So I love that mindset of you. I'm curious, so you believe in masterminds or collaboration?
Of course.
Do you visualize or believe in manifesting the results you want to create from videos in the future or the businesses you want to build? Do you believe in kind of the power of manifestation?
I would frame it differently. I would just say I'm so obsessed. It's all I think about. It's all I dream about. It is my life. It is my reason on the planet. It is all I really care about. So, I don't know. I don't really manifest. It's just who I am. I'm just always thinking.
You are manifest.
I guess. I mean, I am always in my mind 2 to 3 years in the future. Like sometimes, like when
you're visualizing the future.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it because I'm manifesting. I'm just doing it because it's just how my brain's wired, and I can't. Like, what else am I going to think about?
Written or however you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you're pre-planning the production for it, whether it be just an idea or actually mapping it all out or however you do this. Are you visualizing the results of the people that you want to see watching it around the world? Are you visualizing the number? Are you visualizing how many people it reaches or how much you raise for donations? Are you visualizing that?
Yeah. Well, and if it's not every video is a fundraiser, obviously for Team Water, what we're about to do, yes, like the donation conversion is very important because every dollar is literally a year of clean drinking water for someone in need. But for the typical video, honestly, the main thing, here's everything you just said there, like the amount of people have reached, impact, all these things. Really, people enjoy the video because if people don't watch and enjoy the video, then it just doesn't get served. And so YouTube's algorithm is actually very great at incentivizing you just to make the best content possible. So really all I do is I just look at how do I make the greatest videos possible? How do I make a video that people will watch? And at the end, they'll feel satisfied. They'll feel fulfilled. They'll want to watch another one of our videos and they'll be like, that was a good investment of my time. Because the only way you get 200 million views a video, which is what our videos do on average in the first 365 days. But they do more than that on average in the first 3 years. That's just in the first year.
Is that just the main channel or
just
all
the main channel? Yeah, no, our philanthropy channel, it's like 7 million videos.
But I mean, like all the different languages, all the other channels as well.
Well, we do all the dubs on one. Okay. But to finish that train of thought, it's the only way you get 200 million. One day you're getting 1 million views a video, and you establish the habit in their mind that when I click on this channel, I always enjoy it. When I click on a Mr. Beast video, it's a great experience. They under promise, over deliver. It's always good. It's always high quality. There's always a lot of effort put into it, and then next thing you know, you're doing 10 million views a video. And but like if you're constantly churning viewers, you're never going to get that exponential growth. So you just need people every single time they click on a video to have a great experience. And that only comes if you're making the greatest videos possible. So really, it just comes down to make the greatest videos possible. And the people who have been watching will keep clicking every time because the last 20 experiences have been great. And you like people, when you're considering what to watch, you factor all these things in, whether you realize it or not. When you're hovering on it and you're like, do I want to watch it? Like if your last 20 times you clicked on that channel, you were like, that was a great experience. You're going to click on the 21st. And the more you reassure them that it's a great experience, the faster they'll do it. Like there are obviously tons of people who have watched 100 Mr. Beast videos. They don't even think. They just see Mr. Beast click because they're always happy when they do. And like all it takes is one bad video to destroy that trust. Now it's like, ooh, is this one of those bad videos or is it one of the good ones? Because I kind of like this other YouTuber. I don't know if I want to take the risk. So you just don't give them. Like there is no risk. Every time you enjoy it. And so yeah, greatest video possible.
Are you, when you're in the editing process, are you thinking to yourself, oh, this isn't good enough, we have to change it more? Or
of course.
Or do you pre-edit and you're just like, I know this is going to be the result?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, more the pre-edit stuff. But the thing is that's interesting is as, you know, I've just become more of a business person because, you know, my teenage years, I was just studying content creation, but that doesn't really translate well into running a multi-100-person company, obviously. It just clicked in my head and it's obvious now, but in hindsight, when you're 21 with no mentors, you just make it up as you go. It's not as obvious that, you know, an editor who spends 100% of their time editing and it's lived and breathed editing their whole life is obviously going to run circles around me when I can only spend 15% of my time. Even if we were apples to apples, same skill level, he could still spend, or she, 7 times more time than me. So, yeah, it's more trusting in the great people we hired. And like we have editors that are just actually better storytelling than me. Like they just are because they study it all day. They watch a lot of movies that they study storytelling. They like, you know, my idols are more entrepreneurs. Their idols, it's going to be Steven Spielberg. It's going to be Christopher Nolan. It's going to be directors, you know, they're going to list directors I've never even heard of, you know? And so like, obviously they run circles around me. So it's been like, it just depends what year in my life you're talking about. The younger I am, it's like, yeah, I'm micromanaging it. I'm visualizing the edit and things. And the older I get, it's like, you know, this is what I think is great. Here you go. But, you know, if you can put the footage together better, like do your thing.
So is it more of a, you know, because I've heard you talk about data and analyzing retention and charts and all these things, and obsessing on 18-hour Skype calls or Zoom calls about retention with people.
Well, this is pre-Zoom. This is
pre-Zoom.
Skype.
Yeah. So I've heard you talk about data and kind of the science of it.
Yeah.
How much of your process now is around data and science versus art and creativity?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And this is what is crazy. YouTube's algorithm, it does such a good job at just giving people what they want. Is like, the more you study the data, the more it just tells you, make videos people want to watch. And so it's a bajillion times, so my fans are going to be like, oh, he's saying it again. But the more you study the YouTube algorithm, the more you realize I should be studying mass, you know, psychological behavior. Like, I should be studying humans and what they like. The algorithm just rewards them what they want to watch, or gives them what they want to watch. So it's like, it's more just looking at our past videos and seeing like, what are the things people found funny? What are the things people liked? What is the right pacing where people enjoyed it and didn't think it was too fast or too slow? And it's just like, it's that. And then, cause you refinements that like people like, and then the team, and, you know, it used to be me. Now I have a lot of people who help, you know, the team experiments. How do we be creative and like, you know, level up and do the storytelling within these confinements? Cause we know, like, theoretically people don't want to watch a 2-hour long video. No one's coming to YouTube. Most people aren't coming to YouTube to watch a 2-hour long video. They also don't want to watch a 5-minute video. So we know like, hey, the video is probably, especially right now, over 50% of US watch time on YouTube is on television. People on television. So like, we used to make 12, 13-minute videos when it was more phone heavy, but people on television, they don't want to just watch a 10-minute video. They want to commit. A lot of people are eating food. Like, the sweet spot's above 25 minutes. Like, so now it's like 25 to 35-minute videos. So it's like, that's not a creative art decision. That's a data decision. But, you know, well, the more granular we get, then it starts to become more creative, you know? So, cause it's making sure people like it.
Is there ever a time where you want to create what you want different than what the algorithm wants? Where you're like, I really want to do some cool, creative, different content.
Yep.
But I know it's not going to get the views because it's not hitting.
Well, let's change the question though. Yeah. You said different. Do I want to create content that's different than what the algorithm wants? But the algorithm is a reflection of what people want. So what you're actually asking me is, there every time you want to create content that's different than what people want to watch?
Yes. And
the question is no, because I get joy out of entertaining people. Like, that's why I'm doing this. I don't want to make content people don't want to watch, you know? So like, that seems like, and maybe, you know, artsy people might see this and be like, and want to throw up. But in my case, like, you know, I deeply enjoy entertaining people and going above and beyond. And so, you know, I love that the data will tell me what they enjoy, what they like, and then I can like actually give people what they like, you know, within my own creative ways.
Yeah. So you don't feel like you're not creative enough to like do something different. You feel like, I love doing what I'm doing, and it's
like the next video we're about to upload is I bought a private jet and I told a pilot if he lived in it for 100 days, he could keep it. Like, no one else. Yeah. I don't feel like we're being constrained creatively, to be honest. Like, the kind of stuff we're doing
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Is pretty out there.
Well, you talk to maybe Spielberg or Christopher Nolan, and they may have a different perspective.
Of course.
Say, I want to make a 2-hour storytelling, you know, love story or whatever it might be, or sci-fi movie or something.
And that's why a lot of people love them, and that's why my editors probably like him more than they like me. And so there's different styles, like, and that's, you know, there's 8 billion people. Some like some content, others like others.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I saw you say somewhere once that if my mental health was better, I wouldn't be as successful as I am.
Yep.
I'm curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your mental or emotional health? 10 being the best.
Yeah.
And what is your definition of success then?
Yeah. Well, it obviously oscillates. You're not the same every day. Right now, I'm coming off just some of the most intense shooting in my life, so it's definitely something.
It's down or it's high?
It's sub like 5. It's probably like
sub 5.
Yeah, but it's just because, I mean, you know, we had a big project. You know what it is, but I don't know if I can release it yet. But you know, I was filming 15 hours a day for 40 days straight. I mean, it was at nighttime. I was telling them before the podcast, for a lot of our projects, the visuals is much better if you shoot when it's dark out and you shine spotlights versus if you just shoot during the day, because spotlights don't do anything when the sun's out. And then you're at the mercy of the angle of the sun, and the sun, you know, if there's a cloud, it can be less intense. If there's no clouds, it's just beaming on you and you have these weird shadows. And so we like to do a lot of shooting at night. So, I mean, we were filming from like 8, 9 p.m. till 10, 11 a.m. every day just for this one project. And I still had all these other projects, and I was averaging, in June, I was probably averaging 6 hours of sleep a night. And I wasn't working out because I was filming so much. And so I'm coming off the back end of that project. And now what typically happens is when we do a big project, like, because I have a lot of channels, we have one of the largest gaming channels in the world, our channel that revolves around our charity, which donates all the money and feeds people in need. We have the main channel that I have to make TikTok content. We do a lot of short form. We do Instagram and blah, blah, blah. So when I like do something big on one of those platforms, everything else gets neglected. And like when I come back from finishing that project, now it's like the other 6 little, businesses are like fighting for my time. And so
you got Feastables, you got everything.
Exactly. So it's it's just interesting. Like when we finished a big project, like everyone's celebrating. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I know like 8 other people that are in charge of my 8 other companies are about to ask for a ton of my time because I basically ignored them for the most part the last month. And it's so like when we do a video, when we go to Africa and build wells and I'm gone for like 10 days, I know that 11th day when I'm back, like, it's booked 20 hours. And I know the 12th day, 20 hours. And then the 3rd day, 15 hours. And then the 4th day is when I can like start to pre-plan. But I don't know what it is, but I just know like the gaming channel is going to be, Shorts is going to need me to record, TikTok's going to need me to record, Feastables is going to need me to do this and that. And yeah.
You're a machine, man.
Yeah. It's interesting because like normal companies, it's like the CEO at the top and it's like a pyramid. But for this kind of company, it's like almost inverted because I am the product and it's like everyone depends on me. And if I don't show up and film, we don't upload.
So how do you navigate the next 5-10 years then as the product where everyone relies on you? How do you continue to scale your time, your energy, your talent to serve all the businesses and the billions of lives that you're impacting?
Yeah, it's a great question. And that obviously my goal is to build one of the largest businesses in the world one day. And so, because I just love building. And so that's why we stepped into Beast Games, which is a streaming show we did. So for people who don't know, we have our YouTube channel, which is the largest in the world. Then last year we dropped Beast Games, which is a reality show. Most contestants of any reality show in history, with the largest sets in history, with the largest cash prize in history. Someone won $10 million, larger than like the previous highest cash prize was Squid Game, 4.5.
Yeah, incredible, man.
So
it crushed.
Yeah,
it dominated,
it became the most viewed unscripted show in Prime Video history. And so that was like stepping into streaming. And then now the next step is we're going to do shows like I think the easiest forte is like America's Got Talent or Shark Tank or whatever. And I'm one of the hosts for your first few seasons, and then I drive my audience. They see the format's really good, and then I could phase out over time, and they keep watching us because it's a very high quality, great show. And so obviously we need to start making way more content without me. And just because I can't live like I am now forever, I do think like we have other talent and people in the videos, like, my friends, and I think they should step up, and which they know, and we're working on, and do some more things. So, I could be there for 70% of the video, maybe not 100%, and things like that. So it's in the works because, ideally, we're making 20, 30, 40 hit shows a year. We have dozens of YouTube channels, but, I can't be in all of them, nor do I want to. That would be way too much work. I'm already like filming way too much.
But it's building the teams, the talent, the platforms to really help scale it then.
Yeah, exactly. Which we have a lot of the teams and stuff. Now we just need more of the talent. Like we have a 300-person crew that just makes the most viral videos in the entire universe every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Cranking.
So then we have tons of data and we have tons of ideas. So it's more just honestly just getting around to it.
It's amazing, man. Before I get into the next question, actually, I wanted to do this earlier, but I want to make sure we talk about Team Water a few times throughout this video because I think a lot of people overlook the impact, and I'm going to keep coming back to this because even though you don't like talking about it,
I do it just to do it, but yeah.
But I think it's, and I know you get criticism sometimes for why do I talk about it, make these videos? Why not just do it behind the scenes?
Yeah.
I really believe that we should be. I've been donating and building schools for over 13, 14 years for kids around the world as well. Not at the level you've done, but I've been involved in the organizations that I support. And some of the stuff I talk about because I want to inspire other people to do it, and other stuff I don't talk about.
Yeah.
And I think there can be a balance. But what you're doing is you have a platform and you've made a decision to talk about it to inspire people. And if you don't talk about it, other people aren't going to do it unless they feel called to take action. So I want to, before we go into the next questions, again, you're aiming to raise $40 million to bring clean water to access to 2 million people around the world for decades to come.
Yep.
August 1st is the launch day.
Yeah, can I tell him about it?
Tell me where to go. Tell me how to do it.
Well, so he's referring to Team Water. So for context, because a lot of your viewers are probably older, don't know who I am. We 5 years ago we did this thing called Team Trees, and we got all the biggest YouTubers in the world to make videos about trees and tell their audience that for every dollar they donated, Arbor Day, which is a very large foundation that's planted an absurd amount of trees, will plant a tree. And that crushed, right? And we like basically took over the YouTube trending page. Every video,
everywhere.
you know, it's like, imagine like back in your guys' day with Oprah and Dr. Phil and all these other people just like talked about this one thing and made a show around it. It'd be like cool, you know, especially to younger kids who idolize a lot of creators. And so that went really well. And a lot of kids like then started to like go do community service and want to plant trees, and it had a big impact on them when all your role models. So then a couple years later, we did Team Seas, same thing. $1 equals 1 pound of trash out of the ocean. And what's interesting is like, you know, just because I'm very good at understanding how to speak to people at scale, and so like, you know, I don't really see any other charities who do these kinds of things where like normally it would be like $10 or $20, but if you really want, you know, millions of people to take action, like the median donation of that 3 million trees we planted, $23 million we raised was $5.
Wow.
It was crazy. It's because like kids are donating their toothberry money. We made it where no matter how little you donate, you still feel like you're having an impact. Even if you just, you know, donate $1, you can look at a tree and be like, wow, I just planted one of those. That's really cool. You know, you can visualize a pound of trash. And so it's like breaking these down where people who even don't have that much money still can like visualize the impact in their mind and be very simple. And so I think that's why these are so successful. And so same thing now, Team Water, you're going to upload this on August 1st. So when you see this, it'll be live. You know, our goal is the same as the other ones. Like as of right now, we have over 2,000 creators lined up to post videos to help raise money. It's crazy. I mean, no one else in the world can get people to do this. I don't even know why they do. And the interesting thing on that, to give them credit, is like, you know, when I message these creators like, hey, we're doing another fundraiser, we want to inspire kids, we want to, you know, have these younger people have role models they can look up to that inspire them to do good. Like every single creator's on board. It's like 99% of the ones that call or text are like, let's do it. Yeah, they're not like, oh, what's in it for me? They're like, yeah, this is cool. So shout out to YouTube creators and TikTokers. Those are most of the ones I've been calling, and they're just like, let's do it. When's the day?
So August 1st, how can people donate?
It's very simple.
If they want to donate $1, what is the impact they're going to create?
Yeah, so for you guys, just go to teamwater.org, or if you're watching this on his YouTube channel, there should be a donate button below. I'll work with someone on your team. He doesn't know how to do that.
Make it happen.
I'll tell his team how to do it. And yeah, every dollar that we raise will give someone a need clean drinking water for a year. Our goal is to raise $40 million because we did 20 million trees, 30 million pounds of trash out of the ocean. Now it's $40 million to give 2 million people a need clean drinking water for decades. We're working with WaterAid. You know, they've been doing this for decades. Platinum Seal of Transparency. Like you can look up on Charity Navigator, like phenomenal charity. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing, like in terms of that, at least at that scale.
You're partnering with the right people.
Yeah. So it's, you can trust it'll go to a good use. And at that scale, they'll be able to officially deploy where every dollar is a year clean drinking water for someone in need. And I actually was just in Malawi, you know, because obviously you got to inspect what you expect and making sure it's like good. And I was looking at just one of the wells they were digging as you know, that Team WaterAid just naturally does. And I mean, yeah, we were just like landed in Malawi, drove like 3 hours in the most remote direction ever. There's like 4 villages in the middle, and all these, you know, villages, I followed some people around. I was like to see where they get water, and they were literally just going up to like this little pond. They had like a well, it broke, and so it just kind of like the pipe would just pump out water, and it would just like in the surrounding area, and it was very muddy and full of dirt, and people were constantly getting sick, and there's bacteria in it. And I was like, I don't believe this is where these 4 communities are getting the water from. And I'm literally just like, I was like, show me what you do every day. And like, just a woman just filled a bucket up out of this like muddy water, put it on her head. I don't even know how she put it on her head. It was so heavy. And then she just walked off. And I was like, well, for that's real. And they're like, yeah, this is where we get our water because we're so remote. They don't have cars or anything. And so then, you know, WaterAid right in the middle, built a giant well, dug down, clean water, you know, because it's deep enough where it's filtered as the rain and stuff goes to the ground. And literally just that well, now all 4 communities have clean drinking water. They're not drinking this dirt bacteria water. You know, the impact it'll have on their sickness, their health, even things that we overlook, like it's not even just drinking, it's also being able to wash your hands with clean water. It's being able to, you know, just desanitize it or sanitize yourself and all those other things without mud water that has bacteria. It's like life-changing. And I've built over 100 wells, and so I've seen this impact. And like another example is when I was in Kenya, we built a well. We did similar stuff before this fundraise. Like there's one village where we built a well where they were having to walk like it was an hour every morning to go to this little drip of water and then carry these heavy buckets an hour back. And so kids were, you know, missing out on 2 hours of school. Boom, we placed a well right in the middle of the village. Now all of a sudden these kids go to school more because they don't have to, they save 2 hours a morning, and it's very hard labor, and it's just disgusting bacteria water, and it's way cleaner. And I mean, we take it for granted, but clean water changes every aspect of your life. And so, yeah, it's just a no-brainer. I think it's one of the highest leverage ways we could like help change people's lives at scale. And if we actually achieve this and can give 2 million people access to clean water, I mean, the impact that would have is unfathomable. You literally can't even explain it. And so I'm really excited. I hope we can hit the goal.
It's amazing, man. I mean, I've donated to Charity Water and different water organizations in the past, but not at this level. So I want to make sure people go there, teamwater.org.
That's it. Hey, and you seem like you have a rich audience. We have a leaderboard. You know, you can also see who's donated the most. If you get that number one spot, I'll love you forever.
We do have a rich audience.
Yes,
people have a lot of money.
If you're a billionaire, what's $100,000? Throw it over there.
And I'm gonna start the donation to inspire others and give you $25,000.
Oh, let's go. He didn't really.
Really.
Thank you.
Of course, man.
That's 25,000 years of clean water to people in need.
Really.
You know how crazy that is?
It's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's thank you.
Of course.
It's like insane because like when like I was telling you, like the stories when we were building wells, like some of these wells would be only $15,000 and you know it would help over 1,000 2,000 people, and you know, and then you set aside some money to maintain it, and for like decades you could literally just transform the entire lives, like
communities.
People, save their lives. You could stop people from dying, stop people from being sick. They'll be stronger, healthier, they'll grow taller, like every area, like even just this 25 grand is crazy. Anyways, you guys get the point. I'm not going to show too much.
Well, I want to make sure I talk about it. I want to make sure
we'll remind you at the end. Let's go back to adding value to the lives.
But I want to make sure, you know, I'm taking action on it as well, not just by promoting
put this right here.
Exactly,
right
but also, you know, taking action because I want everyone else to take action. Whether it's $1 or $100,000 or whatever you want to do.
I'll take $1. I'll take anything. Beggars can't be choosers.
Exactly. Donate $1, donate something, and share this video with someone that you want to see take action as well.
Is this like an actual check?
That's a check for you to take
home. Okay, well, then you
tax.
probably don't want people to know you're routing an account.
Yeah, well, we'll blur it out.
I'll put it behind the peaceful.
We'll blur it out. Don't forget it, though.
Yeah, whoever's editing this, like, if you don't, he's going to get his bank account hacked.
It's a real check for you to actually put in and donate. So, and I'll make a donation online when this comes live.
Yeah, thank you. We'll figure it out.
Exactly. Question about fears.
Okay.
Do you have any fear right now in your life? You've got so much success.
Yeah.
So much, you know, so many people watching you. You've made so much money. You give a ton of it away. Season 1 of Beast Games is freaking the biggest show in the world ever. We
give away like $24 million at season 1. Yeah.
You've got, you know, you signed multiple other seasons that you're working on. And there's so many other things you can't talk about that you're doing, but you're doing so much good. What is your biggest fear, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, fear of failure used to affect me a lot more years ago, because I was, you know, I'm hiring all these people, especially when you're in your young 20s, and it's like I see someone quit their job, relocate their family across America to come work for me, and I'm like, man, if I fail, like he or she's like low-key kind of screwed. Like I don't want to ever be in a spot where you know, the people who bet everything on me and you know, give their lives to my companies, that I have to one day like be like, oh, sorry, it didn't work out, you know. So that I would say is my biggest fear, would be that like I would mess up in a way where I do have to get rid of people who gave up everything to help support my dream. But you know, at the same time, it is what it is. Like there is no guaranteed success, and so there is a non-zero chance I fail, and that's just part of the game. I'll do everything in my power where I won't. I work every second I'm awake. I always try to do whatever I think will be in the best interest of the business long term. But at the end of the day, no matter what I do, you know, it could happen. And so you just kind of have to come to terms with that. And I'm confident that at least like if I were to fail now, I wouldn't look at it and be like, man, I wish I did more. I would be like, oh yeah, well, you know, I gave it my all and
did the best you can.
Let's start again and let's go.
And then what would you say is the downside then of being the most viewed human on the planet?
Yeah, it's well, I can't go really out in public much or concerts or anything like that. Not that I care, but it is like one of the. So this is where it's hard because there's like levels to fame, and I didn't really fully understand this, and this is why, like, you know, you see someone like who's just world renowned famous, like Justin Bieber, and like
Ronaldo or something.
Yeah, but like Justin Bieber, like he would tweak out, you know, back in the day, and you'd always, you know, be like, why? And I would see other famous people be like, it's not that bad. But the thing is that most people don't realize is like, and I'll try to explain it through my experience, is like when I had 1 million, so right, I have 420 million on our main channel, but when you add, you know, we have one of the largest TikToks, blah, blah, blah. When you add up all our platforms, I'm closing in on 1 billion followers. And so it's, and like when I had 1 million followers across everything, no one would ever recognize me.
Yeah, walking down the street.
Go into a CVS, Walmart, no one knows, right? Then you hit 10 million and now all of a sudden, like, people will recognize you, right? You walk into Walmart, you'll take a photo, and it's so validating. It's like, look, these are real humans. Yeah. You love it. You know, you're with your girlfriend, and you're like,
oh, the man.
Yeah, like that guy. And maybe that's more around 5 million. But then, like, you know, 20 million, 30 million, it starts to get pretty serious. Like, every single time you walk in any place that's public, someone's going to know who you are. You're always going to take a photo, but it's still like the amount where it's fun. It's like, this is cool. Like I'm constantly getting validated. And at least in my case, they didn't really do anything weird. They wouldn't follow my car or like, you know, try to figure out where I live. It was just like, it was chill. And you think like that is what fame is. And I think that's, you know, that's where most people that you think of that are famous, right, that aren't like a Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber, they're probably around that level where it is kind of fun. It's like, yeah, you take these photos, people are telling you how much they love you. It's great. But then you hit like 100 million followers, and it's hard to conceptualize, but it's 5 times bigger. But it's not just that 5 times more people watch your videos. A lot more people who don't watch your content now know who you are because they just see it in passing, or people talk about you, or now you're at the place where the media is incentivized to write about you. So you get just exponentially bigger. You're more actually like 10, 20 times your reach, even though the number's only 5 times bigger. And that's where it starts to be like, someone asks for a photo, everyone looks, and they all recognize you. And now you have a line of photos, and you're just like, at a CVS to buy a toothbrush, you know, and you gotta like these 8 or 9 people
trying to take photos.
Yeah, and people, you know, you're walking around a store and people no longer just ask for photos. Like seeing you is so mind blowing to them that they film you, and they're like, you know, they'll start live streaming, or they'll just do the weirdest things. They'll follow you out to your car, and they'll like try to follow you home because I don't know, people do weird things when they meet ultra famous people. They'll like, they say a lot more crazier things and blah, blah, blah. You're not everyone's your core audience, so they're not as polite. And, you know, people dox your house, people try to hack you way more. It's all these things. And like, even like little things like around that subscriber level, every drive-thru you go to, people will film you. It's like hilarious. Really? I don't go to drive-thrus anymore because like
the people giving the order will film you?
Yeah, which is, I always find very distasteful, but
it's weird.
Yeah, but it's also, it's not like they're the highest paid people in the world. So, right. You know, if they got fired, I don't think most of them care, truthfully. But it's like one of my last experiences is like, I was going through, I won't even name the restaurant, but I was just going through, I saw the phone and I was just like, hey, ma'am, I really don't want people to know what car I drive because it's like a thing I constantly have to switch. Can we just talk, you know, and like not film it? And she's like, that makes sense. Okay. And she puts her phone down. I give the order. You know, a minute later, she's coming back with her phone out, but also like 20 other people behind her, you know, that work there.
Hey, he's here.
It's Mr. Beast. And I have to make like a split-second decision. Like, I don't go now. You know, my car is going to be all over all the local Snapchats and Instagrams, and people are going to know what I'm driving. And it's just a lot of effort. I could go sub out my car. I kind of just did that. So I just like drove off. Like she completely just ignored what I asked and lied to me. And then you see it on Reddit and it's like, Mr. Beast is a dick. He just, you know, drove off rudely and stuff. And they never obviously put the full context. And there's so many stories of that. Like someone else will pay for my bill at a restaurant, so I won't get like a receipt or anything. And I mean, I've learned my lesson on this. I always ask for a receipt. But one of the first times someone paid for my meal, didn't get a receipt, I'm like, so I'm good to go. And the waiter's like, yeah. And then you see it on like the front page of Reddit the next day.
He didn't pay his
No, Mr. Beast didn't tip. So, and obviously they conveniently leave out that someone else paid the bill. And it's like, oh, one of the largest philanthropists in the world can't afford to tip. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't get a bill. I don't carry cash on me. Like, how do you want me to tip? You want me to just wave my hand and spawn some money? And so now if like someone's like pays for my meal, I just won't leave. I'll just be like, I'm not leaving until you give me a receipt so I can leave a tip. I just literally don't care. But like, you have to learn that, like, there's no one teaching you these kinds of things that happen when you're famous. And so like, you just kind of like have to learn it all. And like, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you have 100 million subscribers and all this. And
when you have 1 billion subscribers.
Yeah, or 1 billion followers across everything. And that's what I was about to say. And then there's a whole different level, which is 1 billion, which very few people on the internet, you know,
how many
really
people
relate
have
to.
1 billion followers or subscribers?
Only Ronaldo. I'm not at 1 billion yet. I'm at probably like 930 million. But yeah, so
you'll be there in the next month.
Yeah, Ronaldo's the most followed human on the planet, and I'm number 2, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy, man.
Trust me, I know you guys watching are like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me either, but it is what it is.
So what is that like at that level of almost 1 billion?
That's what I was gonna say. It's like, you know, I mean, one of the worst experiences of my life that I actually made me for like a couple of minutes unironically want to quit was like, you know, I filmed all day internationally, like didn't have much sleep, flew back into America, and you have to do customs. And like the line is just like zigzag and super long. I'm like hoodie up, staring at the ground, like, you know, no one talked to me. I haven't slept. I'm like barely seeing straight, like, because I was so sleep deprived. And then it's just like one little kid looks up. It's like, that's Mr. Beast. And then all of a sudden it just starts going up and down the lines. And I'm stuck in the middle of the line. It's not like I can go anywhere. And everyone's just running up and down the lines and asking for photos and tugging on my hoodie and being like, whoa, what's your next video? This and that. I'm just getting like 17 people are talking to me at once as I have like this 1 hour queue in a line. And I was just like, I can't stand this. And I got to like, because it's zigzag, so I got the end of one of the zigzags and I called one of like TSA people over. I was like, can I please just like go stand over there? Like a pilot's going by. Can I just go to the pilot lines? Anything. And he's like, no, we can't do it. As like little kids are tugging on me. I'm like, man, it was a woman with blonde hair. I was like, please, anything. Like I'm dying. Like I literally don't know what to do. And she's like, oh, well. And so Then I just like went and hid in a janitor's closet. I just had my friend hold my spotlight and he texted me when he got to the end. But I'm just sitting in this janitor's closet, just hiding from a mob of people for like 45 minutes, sleep deprived. And I'm like, is this really what I wanted? So it was pretty miserable. And there's a lot of things like that happens at that level. And it's like everyone meeting you, it is
a big moment for them.
It is the most famous person they'll ever meet. And it sounds cocky for me to say that, but just statistically, obviously it's true. And so, yeah, it's a huge moment. They try to extract as much value out of it as possible. And it just makes, I like meeting genuine, awesome fans who just take a photo, say they like the videos, and we talk for a minute. But most people want to talk for like 20, 30 minutes. And it's just the problem that no one understands. And I wish there was like training for the public on this is like, I have to always be moving when I'm in public. I stop moving, it's a death sentence. Crowds start forming, the photos line, and I'm just screwed. Because the thing is, once a line of photos start, by the time you get through that line, a new line that's even longer, and I literally can't take photos with everyone. And then now I'm the head that ignored his fans, and so I can never let a scenario where a line of 5 or 6 people happen because then it blinks. And so that's what I'm always explaining to him when people talk to me at the airport. I'm like, you got to walk with me. I can't talk. Some people are like, why? Or like my terminal's that way. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but I got to keep moving, man. I can't stop. And then they think I'm like being a and like people don't really, because they've never been in our shoes, like understand what it's like. And so it's hard because I also like have to like the problem if you let someone else's parents take a photo,
oh man,
bro, it'll take a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
They don't know how to take photos.
Well, it's death sentence because if you're standing there posing for a photo, everyone looks, and because percentages of humans alive watch my videos, a lot of them recognize me, and then the line forms. So I can't let parents take photos. I can't let other people take photos. I have to
walk and talk selfie.
Yeah, I have to do the selfie because the selfie I can do in 30 seconds, and I can do while moving, and I can control the pacing and not. I mean, and this sounds like crazy, but this is just the truth. Or if not, I'm going to be called an asshole online because I didn't take photos with the people in line in the line form because I stopped moving, and I have to calculate all these variables when I'm in public or if not, if I just didn't care, like I would every day there'd just be pieces on me about how I'm and so it's just like all those things you got to worry about. Plus, like everyone's trying to dox you. Like I'm always moving. Everyone's trying to dox your car. Everyone will follow you. Like, you take 2 right-hand turns and the car's still going. Take a 3rd one, take a 4th one. Oh, it's still following me. All right. So sometimes I'll have to just drive to the police station. And then people
wait for them to leave.
Yeah. And then when people are following you in their car, they'll see you pull in the police station. They'll be like, okay, I'll stop. And so I know exactly where the police stations are in most of the cities when I'm driving because I have to go there, wait. And then the officers are like, what's going on? I'm like, just don't worry about it. They're gone. And then it's like, so there's just so many things where it's just easier just to work all day and not go in public.
Number one, we got to get you global entry so you can walk through security at the.
I have that now.
Okay,
I've been needing it for so long, but I couldn't even find the time to go to our local airport to get it because they make me film so much. But I finally got it.
We got you global entry. Get you through quickly. Number 2, since you're the second most famous person in the world.
Not famous, but I'd say most followed on social media. Because obviously Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber. Yeah.
I mean, since you're the second most followed person in the world on social media. You did a collab video with Ronaldo. Yeah. Did he give you any advice on fame, success, and how to manage all this stuff?
Honest, no. I would have. Well, first off, I want to say I was like to his team. I was like, bro, I just need 3 minutes. Like, I don't care if he's walking to the bathroom. Like, he literally is just like practicing. I'm sitting on the sideline. He goes to walk to the bathroom. I film with him, and that's all I get. I'll be happy. I just like, I know my fans like Ronaldo. I'd love to just say hi to him and just film a little bit. But he ended up giving us like 2 hours, which is way more than I wanted. And then afterwards invited me to his home. He was very welcoming, very just awesome. Like, did way more than I ever expected. I still don't know why, because he is obviously very busy. Great experience, but no, we didn't really talk about that. It was just, there's a little bit of a language barrier.
Sure.
So you're super nice, but it's just more, general basic stuff, talking about like football season. I was teaching him a lot and his team about YouTube and exactly that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Is there anything you've learned from him just by observing him with this kind of the fame, success?
I would say him, The Rock, a couple other big celebrities. My big takeaway is honestly, they made me feel just more like when I was talking to them, they made me feel like I was at the center of the earth. Like The Rock was ignoring everyone that was tapping on his shoulder. He was just really focused on me, and I was like, wow, this guy,
But you gave him a $100,000 donation.
Well, we played rock, paper, scissors. Loser had donated $100K to charity, but it was they're very attentive, and I don't know, they just have an aura, and when they shine it on you, you definitely feel it. Like you can tell if someone's like acting and like, oh, this guy's a big YouTuber, I need to be nice to him, or like they're really like being genuine and present. Yeah, very present. And I think that's like I don't know. I think that was like a really nice skill that I'd like to develop because I'm not always present because I'm always thinking about the future and stuff like that. But people can really tell. And I left meeting both of them like, whoa, that was cool. I feel really good. And like, I imagine that's what they do with most people they interact with, which, you know, makes them like them a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. You recently got engaged.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I recently got married earlier this year.
Wow.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned from recently being engaged? What has opened up for you from this experience and, you know, letting love in your life and connecting in a relationship in a deeper way? How has that shifted your mindset, your heart, your vision, everything?
Yeah. I mean, it changes you in so many ways. Like one of the ways I just never expected is like, it's very weird because we track a lot of data. I'm a data junkie. I sleep way better when I'm near my fiance. Like if I'm on the road in a hotel or whatever, my sleep is way worse than when I'm around my fiance. And I've thought about it a lot. And I think it's like just even 20, 30 minutes before bed where I have a little less serious conversations help, you know, the activity level in my brain kind of go down. So it's a lot easier for me to just go to bed because obviously if not, I lay in bed and I just think about videos and ideas. And so it's like countless things like that where I never would have expected it to be a net positive, but you know, we're not built to be under stress 24/7 and constantly be working. You're supposed to have downtime here and there, but I'm just not good at that. You're not good at that. Like, you know,
she allows you to do that.
Yeah.
More.
So she really helps, which I thought was going to be a negative. And one of the reasons why I was really afraid of like being super in love, like, oh, is this going to take me away from work? But I actually think it does make you more productive if you have, you know, occasional downtime. It helps you just stay more sane, helps, or at least in my case, sleep better and things like that. Like it doesn't need to be like 5 hours a day, but just like an hour or two with her. It's like, this is a very beautiful woman. I don't need to think about work. And then you come out the other end, you feel much better. So that was a net positive. And
That was a good thing for the pie chart of life.
Yeah. Well, it's hard, man. When you have 500 people that depend on you, I really have to justify every single minute of my life. You know what I mean?
And every person in your life.
Yeah, exactly. Because if not, like, what am I supposed to, like, if we have to fire 12 people, am I just supposed to be like, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't really care and sorry, screw your family? No, it's like, you know, if we have to fire people, like I want to know, like I did everything I could. And so I have to be very like on point with every little thing I'm doing, like even in my relationship. But yeah, it's a lot of net positive like that. And I think she makes me a better person. And I mean, obviously I'm marrying her. My fiance is great because she travels with me and she understands like I just have a very hectic life and, you know, she revolves a lot of her schedule around mine. So we can actually, like, if she was just like, no, like I'm not going to work around your film schedule. It is what it is. Like I would see her never. So.
What's the biggest lesson she's taught you then?
Biggest lesson, she's taught me a lot about the brain because she's a neuroscientist. So she just
or just about life or anything. Like biggest lesson she's taught you.
It's hard. I mean, everything keeps coming to my brain because sometimes she'll just say something about the brain. I'm like, how do you even know that?
Or what's the thing you love about your fiance the most?
I love that she's always reading books. She has a very large like desire to learn, which I can't be around someone who's stagnant because of and so that's one of the hottest things she does is read a book. Like it's like weird to me. I'm sure like most guys don't relate to that and they would say something completely different, like wear a bikini or this or that. But in my case, like I don't remember what her last book was. But
she's always learning.
She's just always reading. It's usually like the most weirdest books ever. But when it's cool because she just likes learning. And then the other thing that is weirdly attractive is we like a lot of the same content. So it's like very frictionless. Like she watches the shows I watch, and it's not because she's trying to impress me. It's just that's what she genuinely loves. So we watch the same stuff, which is typically more documentary side. Like I don't know, we watched something that Joe Rogan recommended, like Planet of the Apes, or not that. There's like some documentary of chimpanzees deep in Africa. We loved it. And it was so great. I know so much about them and how they form groups and how they're like, you know, mini versions of humans and how they operate and the hierarchy. And I loved it. And I could, you know, obviously she loves it too. And so just always learning stuff like that, I would say above anything else, because I love learning. And if I was around someone who's like, no, we need to watch, what are those like Drama of Housewives or whatever those shows are. I just couldn't. I literally could not. And so it's great because it's very frictionless. Everything we do together, I would say it's just, I keep coming back to the word frictionless because it's so important to me, because in the limited downtime I have, I don't want to have to make trade-offs and do things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Everything we do together and everything we bond over, we both deeply enjoy, which is like what really makes me feel like I hit the lottery. Because obviously she's very beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful women in the world, but to have someone who is beautiful, that has a lot of traits that make me a better person and is very frictionless, that's why I'm like, okay, this is like 1 in a trillion.
That's beautiful, man. There was a great documentary about you on YouTube. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And I encourage everyone to go watch it because it was really cool sharing your backstory. And I know your mom's a big part of your life as well, and she really kind of raised you and helped nurture your development. What's the biggest lesson your mom has taught you?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, a lot, especially early in the days. You know, it was me and my mom and two of my friends. So once I started making some money, she taught me about taxes. She taught me about this or that. It's funny because me and my mom just grew up with completely different worldviews. Like, obviously for her, it's you go to college or you're poor, right? That's what she was always taught. She went to college and she worked in the military for 20 plus years. Wow. And so she was very, like, she was even the warden of a prison overseas. Like, she's like very successful, but very by the book, obviously, because she's decades in the military. Follow the rules, this or that.
You're like, break all the rules.
Exactly. And so we were polar opposites of just wavelengths and the way we see the world. I mean, it couldn't, especially when I was younger, couldn't be any more different. So truthfully, there was a lot of friction between us constantly, because like me not going to college was like basically saying to her, like, I just want to be homeless. Like, you know, you're going to be worried about me forever. And like me wanting to take all these risks is like crazy because, you know, my parents were over leveraged in 2008. And so they lost everything. And they literally had to file for bankruptcy. So she's been through bankruptcy and she knows like if freaking sucks, and she's been at rock bottom. So seeing me, you know, when I start making tens of thousands of dollars a month, spend it all every month and just keep going all in, she's like, no, you're going to end up like we did. And you don't want to go through. So every step of the way for, you know, 10 years, I don't want to study. I don't want to do this. I want to chase this dream that your brain can't, like, it's like the equivalent, like, of you saying you wanted to be, or you having a kid and your kid's like, I want to be a professional lion. You'd be like, what the does that mean? But that was the equivalent of me telling my mom I want to be. She doesn't even know what YouTube is. Me being like, I want to be a YouTuber. Like, it's literally the equivalent of your son going, I want to be a lion. Like, it's like her brain physically couldn't compute what I was saying. And so we were so far apart.
She thought you'd be broke and pouring on the streets.
She couldn't even comprehend what I was thinking. Like, and then and she didn't want me to go through a lot of the mistakes she learned and blah blah. But eventually, after, you know, many years of it, many years of me saying, I'm going to do this, and then it happening, and eventually she just got to the point where it's like, you know what, I just trust you. And that's when our relationship got probably 100 times better. And I don't blame her for it. Like, I think 99.99, I think every mom in the universe would have probably handled things much worse than her, you know, because it's not like we had tons of money growing up, and everything she was saying is because she wanted what was best for me. It's not because she was trying to hold me back. But there was some turning point where it went from like her basically crying because she was like, please, I don't want you to like go bankrupt, to like, it just switched. And she was like, she would just start saying, I trust you. I think this is a little deranged, but I trust you. And I'd be like, let's go, let's get it. Yeah. Like, there was one point where she was like so worried about it, because again, she went through bankruptcy, that she like took $10,000 and hid it. It was in my name. It's not like she stole it, but just in a bank account I didn't know about, because I don't really have access to my bank accounts because it's too much time. I just go, how much money do we have? And she just tells me, especially when I was younger. And she just did that as like a rainy day fund. So my son's never actually homeless. And then I like eventually found out about it. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can like spend a little more on this next video. And I mean, I've never seen her cry more than that. She's just like, you can't take this. Like, I need this money so I can like sleep at night and know you're good. Gosh. And like, my brain didn't register any of that, because like, I'm just like, what do you mean money means to make videos? And I'm like 21, and like, I'm like, why would we save money? We can make better videos. And I eventually convinced her to give me the money so I could go put it into videos. And it's like, it was crazy. I wish we had that kind of stuff on camera now that it's over and we have a great relationship to laugh at, because it was like,
sure.
It was pretty crazy.
So what would you say is the biggest lesson then she taught you through kind of your whole journey so far?
I'm not just that, you know, parents have different worldviews than their children. And, you know, just trust me, you know. It's like, I guess really that, I mean, obviously, I don't know why, like, I don't remember much when I'm younger. Like, my life in my head really started when I started making YouTube videos. Before that, I don't really remember much. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, she's my mom, tons of stuff she taught me, but I don't know, like, all my memories are just making content, which is not a good thing. I think I might have Alzheimer's or something's wrong with my head, but it's like when I try to go before 11, it's like kind of nothing really exists.
Well, you should say if you were mentally more healthy, you would be less successful, I think, right? It's like, so
I have a brain that I think is conducive to being more successful, but
it's driven for success.
But I'm very weird compared to most people. I would say I hold it back, and he's also a very successful man, so it's a little easier. But yeah, especially when I was younger, if I tried to have a conversation with a typical average person my age, I mean, it would just fall apart.
Right.
Like very quick. I'd just be like, South Park. Okay, can we talk about something fucking important?
Do you see yourself wanting to be a dad in the future sometime?
Yeah, 100%. I love mentoring people and helping them, and it would be so awesome to have a boy or girl and just be able to mentor them into whatever they want to be successful in. That would be a lot of fun. Just not anytime soon because I don't have time. So I want to be a dad when I could.
But you didn't think you had time for a girlfriend or
a fiance, yeah.
You didn't think you had time for that.
Yeah, but this is a bigger.
And it's made your life better.
Yeah, but this is a bigger bet because it's not like after a year, if I'm like, oh, I don't have time, I can throw it away.
Of course, of course.
I want to be sure. So it'll probably be like at least another 6 or 7 years because like I don't want to have a kid and then not be present, you know? Because then what's the point? Why even have a kid if I'm not going to be involved?
Well, in 6 or 7 years, I don't think you're going to slow down. I think you're going to have like this massive enterprise.
I don't know.
Bigger.
But I do know for a fact of not having kids unless I think I could be a good father. And right now, factually, I don't even have enough time some months to like sleep. So I just would not be a good father. So whenever that inflection point hits, I'm going to start popping them out. Yeah.
Okay. And she's cool with that. Waiting 5, 6, 7 years.
I mean, as of now, yes. I'm sure as she gets older, she's going to be like, let's do it now. Yeah. Let's go. You know, the first year,
you'll figure it out.
They just poop. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You'll figure it out either way. You know, you'll be ready either way.
I want a lot though. I think that'd be fun.
Really?
Yeah.
How many kids? Like,
I would, as long as I'm having fun, I would crank out a bunch.
Really?
Yeah, because it'd be fun. Hopefully, they have my level of ambition. They want to be successful. It doesn't have to be in business, whether it's basketball, baseball, painting bowling balls, or business. Like, I would just love to, you know, make them or chess. I don't really give a shit what it is, but I'd love to make them like the best version of that because I would have, you know, basically spent 20 years of my life just obsessing over how to become the best in your craft, and then to be able to just funnel that. Have you ever read the How to Raise a Genius?
No.
There's this guy who had I think it's 3 girls. And before they were born, he was like, how could I objectively measure whether or not, you know, I trained them to be good at something? And, you know, a lot of things, there's randomness, you know, basketball, well, what if they're too short and that's out of their field? And so he landed on chess because it's a very objective game. And from a very young age, you know, he used all these theories. He was like a college professor on how to like make someone exceptional at something. And he did it at a young age and blah, blah. And one of them ended up being one of the only females to ever be like one of the top 10 chess players in the world. And they all became like, I think all 3 grandmasters, don't quote me on that. Very exceptional chess players. And the more important thing is they have a great relationship with their dad. And now like they're older in their 20s and they're like, yeah, our dad didn't make us do anything we didn't want to do. And he talks about how you make learning fun and all this other stuff. And he was like 3 for 3 at making exceptional chess players, which proves there is a way you can raise someone to be very, very successful by putting your knowledge into them without it being torture and making them hate you. And so that was really cool for me to read because I'm like, okay, good, because I really enjoy mentoring, but I don't want to like, but you hear the stereotypes of like, yeah, well, dads force their kids to be good at something they don't want to, and they end up resenting them. But he clearly laid out a playbook where you could. And so that's what I'd also love to obsess over more, because like that would be the best version for me is like if I could find their passion at a young age that they want to do, and then whatever the hell it is, make them the best in the world at it, you know, that would be a dream come true.
And them still appreciate and love you.
Exactly. While maintaining a good relationship. Yeah. Like I don't obviously want to push them to do something they want to do.
I saw a video online. I can't remember if it was Noah Kagan, a buddy of mine that's another YouTube guy. I think he was interviewing some billionaire. I think it was him interviewing some billionaire. And he asked this guy, what's your definition of success like later in life? In your like 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And the guy said, you know, being able to be successful in your business and also have your kids want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
That is success to him.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you want to make sure that you start your family, start having kids when you can be more present, when you can pour into them.
Yeah.
Time, talent.
And I would add one more layer, because if you look at billionaires or very successful people, you know, yes, they're very successful, but how many of them are relatively fit, jacked while doing it? And then how many of them are relatively fit / jacked and have a good relationship with their family? It's actually like, that's real success, is actually checking all 3 boxes, you know. And that's, you know, sometimes I will talk to someone who's very successful, but they're really fat and they're having heart issues and all these other things. And, you know, it's your choice, but just obviously objectively health wise, it's not, you know, good to be obese. It factually will shorten your lifespan. And, you know, and they don't have a good relationship with their kids. And, you know, we'll be talking about money and I'm like, that's cool, but I would respect you way more if you're in good health and your kids didn't hate you. And it's something I can't not observe. And so when I do meet people who are fit and successful, or, I mean, I've only met like a couple who, you know,
hit all 3.
Yeah, hit all 3. I'm like, that's when I'm like, wow, you like really figured it out. Because that's that's not easy, you know.
Hard.
Yeah, like anyone can throw 20, 30 years of their life at a business and eventually succeed. Like I don't think anything. I think the biggest reason why I am where I am now is like I would say factually of the tens of millions of YouTubers in the world, none of them has spent more time thinking on their YouTube channel. None of them have spent more time working on their YouTube channel, and none of them are more obsessed about their YouTube channel than me. I would just say factually, whatever the number
and
is,
spent more money on.
Yeah, sure, but the money you could remove that. Because other people can't control how much money they spend, but they can control those three variables. And I would just say out of, let's just pick a number. It's tens of millions. Let's say it's 40 million. Out of the 40 million creators on the planet, there's just factually not a single one that has put more time, more thought, and more effort into their channel than me. Like I will die on that hill. And so, you know, obviously that would naturally be conducive to success. And so like anyone could do that in business, but to do that in business while also raising your kids well where they like you and, you know, ideally they're becoming successful while also taking care of your health and body. Maybe not mental health. I don't value that one as much, but at least just physical health so you can live to be 80, 90 years old. Like, that's where you would have my, like, I would bow to you. I'd be like, man, you got it.
You figured it out. Yeah. It's hard. Well, it's cool that you're really excited to obsess about your business, obsess about growth, but also you want to wait until you can make sure you also pour into your kids in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of entrepreneurs don't think that way. I think they're just like, focus on their business and like kids come second, I think. Not all of them.
Then I would just be like, why have kids?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the business will still be first, but that's where I like what Jeff Bezos says. It's not work-life balance, it's work-life harmony and, you know, ideally,
integration, all that stuff.
Exactly. Ideally, they come along with filming trips and we just figure out a way to like make it all harmonious where I don't have to choose either or and they love what I'm doing and it just like works out.
Yeah. I got a few final questions for you, Jimmy. This has been powerful and really inspiring. One of them is, again, in about 2 months, in 2 months, there's going to be a video that comes out that
October 4th,
that you filmed 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe you know what it says, maybe you don't know what it says, where you were speaking in the future to your future self saying, I hope you have this. I hope you're at 1 million subscribers in 5 years. I hope you're doing YouTube full time and making money in 10 years. And your younger self spoke into existence what you've created times 1 million, right? If you were able to film a video right now,
oh God,
and maybe you've already done this, but if you haven't, this could be a video clip that you upload
for 10 years in the future from today.
For your 10-year self, you're 37.
Yeah.
It's October 4th, 2035.
Yeah.
What message would you say to yourself 10 years in the future that you hope about where you're at?
Oh, there's a lot here. I mean, one thing for starters, it's funny. We haven't even talked about Feastables. Like Feastables, do you know about the ethical sourcing and stuff we do with Feastables?
Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, I really hope by then so for our chocolate brand, I started selling chocolate, usual snack, but then I looked under the hood and I realized there's a lot of child labor in West Africa, which is where a majority of the cocoa for chocolate comes from. It's like 70% of cocoa comes from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, and 46% of households that have children, those children work in child labor on cacao farms. It's like crazy. There's over 1.5 million kids in illegal child labor over there. And I was like hearing all that, and I was like, okay, well, surely there's like a supply chain where I just pay a little premium, and I don't have a little kid working on my farm. Like I'd rather not get rich on the back of a 12-year-old working on a cacao farm. And everyone's like, no, it's not possible. And I'm talking to all the biggest suppliers and all the biggest chocolate companies, and they're like, no, it's just if you want to sell chocolate, you use child labor. It's just kind of how it works. And I'm like, that seems everyone like
does that seem fair?
Yeah, I was like, everyone in this boardroom, you're all just like, that's like a consensus, and you just don't even care. And it's like no one really cared. It's like crazy. They're all just like, it is what it is. Like it's one of the laws of thermodynamics. I'm like, okay. So that set me down a rabbit hole, and that's why we pay all our farmers a living income reference price and blah, blah. I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but we use fair trade certified beans, and we have people routinely audit, remediate child labor on our farms, blah, blah. And so it's, I mean, I don't know of any other chocolate company in America that's more ethically sourced than us. And so my big goal right now with Feastables is to get it where it's doing $1 billion a year, profitably while being ethically sourced, because one of the things a lot of these bigger chocolate companies fall back on is like, well, yeah, you can ethically source it when you're small, but we
scale of that.
Yeah, we sell 1 billion chocolate bars a year. Like, bro, that's different. So, I need to get scale. And then they'll be like, well, if you did it at scale, it wouldn't be profitable. We have fiduciary responsibility, blah, blah, all these excuses. So now we got to be profitable, and we got to do it while being ethically sourced. And then it's more powerful, because then I can go to them and be like, no, this is factually possible. You just don't want to, right? But right now they hide behind the complicated veil of it's not possible. It's not like, oh, if you guys just paid an extra 3 cents a bean or whatever, a metric ton, whatever the conversion is, these kids are there's literally no option, so they're able to hide behind the ambiguity, and they're not incentivized to set it up and fix it themselves. So I really hope I could build that and build a way where, if we really nail it on Feastables, where one day we can help other companies source their cacao through us, and just be like, yo, like, here it is. It's like a thing. You're choosing not to, but just so we're on the same page. It's not because you can't. You just actively are choosing to use child labor because you're a cheap, what I mean? And be able to like look a chocolate exec in the eye and say that would be awesome. But I mean, it's obviously a very complicated thing, and because you're talking about like there's hundreds of thousands of farms, right? It's not like a lot of these are family owned farms and smaller. It's not like there's like 1,000 mega plantations, and so it's like very granular, very boots on the ground, and you have to trace it. And then there's all these other things, like, so we work, well, like I did masterminds on YouTube. When I got into this, I was like, okay, who are all the people in the world that are ethically sourcing cacao the most? Started doing masterminds with them. One of the top ones is Tony Chocolonely. A lot of people in Europe have probably heard of them. That's where like the three things we do, like that's what they do, and that's where I learned a lot from. Like I wouldn't be anywhere near as far into ethically sourcing as I am if I didn't meet them. And like one thing they do, which we do because we have a joint supply chain with them, because at the start it's much easier just to use their supply chain, is they literally will scan the size of the farm, because since we pay the premium for our ethical source cacao, neighboring farms will go throw their cacao that does have child labor in like the bins and stuff to get the premium, and like people would pile it. So they literally track the radius of the farms they work with, or we work with, and then if they submit theoretically more than the maximum yield is physically possible per hectare, then like that sets off a red flag. Like that's how in depth we're going, and it's like, yo, like you literally couldn't have grown this much. Like, just tell us, like, who put cacao in here? Like, it's just like, we can't take this, And so it's like going that far where no one in the world would even know. Like, you could just turn a blind eye. A guy submits 3 times the theoretical yield of a farm. Who's even gonna know that? You know what I mean? Who's gonna go measure the farm, see what the output is, and then know that this farm, we could get away with it. But that's like how granular we're going. And so it's no joke. It's a lot of work, but hopefully, 4 or 5 years from now, or
in 10 years, then, what do you predict for Feastables and your YouTube channel?
Well, yeah, that's where with Feastables, I hope we hit those 3 metrics. I hope other people are using, or, we're helping other people ethically source their cacao. But it's just not stopping there. I mean, there's so many things I want to do. Like, obviously, hopefully we have like dozens of hit shows that aren't just Mr. Beast, like our own version of The Voice or Shark Tank and a bunch of other unscripted shows that eventually we move into scripted shows, because, our media division needs to keep growing year over year. Feastables grows year over year. And another, this would take me hours to answer. Another thing we've been working on recently is there's no way for like large brands in America to like deploy capital, like large sums of money into brand deals for creators. Everyone knows, like, instead of buying an ad, like a YouTube ad that's skippable, or an ad on different platforms in the middle of a video, it would convert much better just to pay the creator directly to promote your product. But, if you're a big blue chip brand that deploys 100 million or whatever your budget is,
you go through an agency and this and
but even then there's no agency that can do it at scale, right? If you wanted to, if you're one of the brands that spend $1 billion a year on advertising, you want to deploy, let's say, 75 million of it in a single year into brand deals with creators, you literally can't do that right now. Especially if you wanted to actually reach a certain target in demo. So you wanted to reach women between the age of 20 and 30, right? You're not buying my video, right? And once you get after the top 10 creators, like, brand deals start to fall down to like 100 grand. And so like that would be whatever, 700 brand deals. And most of them, brand deals would end up being $20,000-$30,000 or whatever. And so you're talking about facilitating thousands of brand deals a year. There's no CMO, there's no agency that can handle that kind of throughput at scale, especially not even for one company. Now, if you had multiple ones. And so that, I think, is a very important thing, because it'll allow creators to make more money, which I'm very passionate about. It'll also allow big brands to just get better ROI on advertising and reach this new frontier. Because
are you going to build a platform?
Yeah, so that's what we've been working on and have already started facilitating. Jamie. And so I think that will be one of the bigger things we do. Yeah, because it's just a no-brainer. Every CMO I talk to that has these giant 9-figure budgets wants to deploy 8 figures into creators.
They can't do it.
They can't. Or they do, and it doesn't convert well because it's not data backed. And
it's not tracked.
And so we
That's exciting.
Yeah. So it's multiple other stuff like that. Like I love building businesses and I love making content. Those are the 2 things I exist on this planet for. And so hopefully the YouTube channel is doing better than it is now. We have a bunch of hit shows, and, we leverage that attention to, start a child, or grow Feastables, get kids out of child labor, grow whatever our creator marketplace ends up being called. And we're helping creators make more money and brands deploy ads more efficiently. And it's like ideally like 4 or 5 or 6 businesses that are, hopefully doing over $1 billion a year each. And they're like net positives, and they're growing year over year.
That's amazing, man. Okay, I have 4 final questions. I'm going to try to get through them fast for you. So I know you got to get some sleep, man. You've been going all day.
Let's hit it.
With all the impact you've had on all the lives over the last decade and the people you're serving, specifically through Team Water and all these different things, is there a person or a moment or a memory that hit you the most? You mentioned like you saw a woman walking with water like an hour. But was there like someone that you gave 1,000, 10,000, 100, or you impacted in some way that you're like, wow, this really, I remember this one? Because you can get kind of not numb, but you do so much good.
Yeah, I'm very much numb
that
to
everyone's
it.
like, you're amazing. Like, oh, thank you, you changed my life. But is there one person or a family or a mom or someone that you're like, who was blind, who saw that you're like, wow, this really touched me? Is there one of those memories you have?
It's definitely, or not, bro, we've helped so many, like literally tens of thousands. But if I had to pick, which is very hard, it would probably be when we built wells in different countries in Africa, because those are like, water is just so essential. And like, and like I said before, like if water has bacteria in it and stuff, it just affects their lives so much. And sometimes like building the wells really isn't even that hard. Like you bring the machine out, you dig it down, it's like 15, 20 grand. You could just, like, if you've put it in the center of multiple communities, like you can fundamentally change the entire future of thousands of people, and especially if you set aside some money to maintain it. So if it starts to rust or go bad, there's like $1,000 there. Or or what we do with some of our partners is like we'll help them set up like a very, 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 and I don't know if this is what WaterAid does, but just with the partners I worked with before, small tax where, every time you use it, it's like less than a penny, but then that you put that money in a fund, so if there ever is repair issues, then the village can take care of itself, and like you get it where it's self-sustaining. So then if that well is actually there for 20 years, I mean, that's like you literally can't state the kind of impact that would have. So yeah, it would say when we build wells in Africa, or honestly the stuff we're doing in Ghana with Feastables, because it's just even like one of the things we're working on now, like, because I mean there's no stone we won't turn over, is there's some data that shows like I was looking at school attendance data, in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, and when you make sure I say these stuff accurately, like when you do a school feeding program, there's one school where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they'd give the kids a free meal. And it's not like it's high quality, it's just like nourishment. And like the attendance on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday would be like 40% higher than Tuesday and Thursday, because parents would know, hey, if I send my kid to school today, at least they'll be fed. And so, with some of these, because we're doing everything we can to get kids off the farms, we set up feeding programs at certain schools near our farms where it actually lowers the child labor rate quite a bit, because if the parent will way more higher probability of sending a kid to school if they know they're going to get at least one meal when they go there. And like one school, when they heard that we were going to start a school feeding program, like the weeks leading up to it, like over 100 kids enrolled, just because they heard that there was going to be free food there. And because it's like a community that farms cacao, most of those kids are obviously, if they weren't going to school, they were working in child labor on farms, because that's just what the community does. And so that one also is pretty crazy, because I see these kids in school and learning, and it helps break like the cycle of, well, if they never got an education, they're just going to do what their parents did, which is they're going to work on cacao farms. And if not seeing changes, farmers make less than $1 a day on average, because big chocolate is very cheap and don't pay much. And so, if they don't get this education, they're just doomed to making less than $1 a day. And it's like pretty brutal. But then, you do the things we're doing for ethical sourcing, plus you start a school feeding program, and that fundamentally like will change their entire life. If they have education, they can get a different job in something that, pays more and blah, blah, blah. So I'd say it's a tie between those two things.
Okay, cool, man. Changing lives, man. What is the thing about you, Jimmy, that most people don't understand about you?
Yeah.
That you feel like you wish they knew more about you? Something maybe you feel misunderstood about, or wish they, maybe something you don't talk about publicly that you wish people knew more about you?
That's a great question. I wish people knew more about, I mean, we talk about it a lot on this podcast, but not everyone watches the podcasts I do. Obviously 99% of my viewership just watches my videos. And I would say, I don't think people realize just how hard it is to do what we do. I mean, it is nonstop all day, every day. Like there's a reason why no one else does what I do, and it's because it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's like, especially most people, once they make a couple $1 million, they're like, why would I work that hard? I'll just like I'll keep working, but like I'll enjoy my weekends. I'll sleep 9 hours every night. I'll like be happy. Like, and that's where you notice like an effect where like creators will go like this, like exponential growth, and they'll kind of teeter off, because it's like, all right, like those are the people who are particularly money driven. And then once they start to come into that money and they hit their number, they're like, why am I going as hard? They weren't doing it because they loved it, or because they wanted to win, or blah, blah. And so it's like, it's just like getting here was just an unfathomable amount of work. I I didn't do parties. I just work. It's just what I do. And I think people it's quite literally every second I'm awake, I'm thinking about, it's like Jensen said, I'm either working or I'm thinking about working. It's literally that. And it's that over a very long period. And, I don't think people realize just how much effort it took to be here. Like, you don't, just luck into it. Like, a lot of people will say it's luck, but it's like, was it luck that I spent 1,000 days in a row analyzing why videos perform better than others? You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like if anyone actually did that with like actual intensity and purpose, they'd be
successful too.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things that people say are luck, because I get that all the time, especially from people who don't really know how I got here. I'm just like, well, point to one person who's put 1/10 of the amount of time into this that I have and didn't become successful. Yeah. Like, you can't, I'm like, it's like the saying is like it takes 10,000 hours to master something, but I think the saying should be it takes 100,000 hours to master something. Because like, what is 10,000 hours? If you do 10 hours a day for 365 days, that's 3,600 hours in 1 year. So you're saying it just takes 10 hours a day for 3 years to master something? No, you could do something 10 hours a day for 3 years, come out the other end. I did. It took me 7 years before anyone started watching my videos. It's not 10,000 hours. It's like, to be a little more reasonable, it's probably more like 30, 40,000 hours. You know what I mean? Like, there's a world before I'm 40 where I'll be 100,000 hours deep into this. You know what I mean? And like, no one else in the world will be able to say that about their YouTube channel and creating content. So, yeah. But on the flip side, I think that's just how I'm wired. And I also don't think that kind of mindset works for everyone. Like, there's like people who, for whatever reason, we're just like, our brains are like, winning is the purpose of life and winning is fun and winning is why I'm here, and have a brain like that. But other people, obviously, it's not, and it's fine. So if that's not your natural mind state, you can't force it. But yeah.
Is it, when you say winning, is it more about winning and having the biggest channel and platform, or is it more about winning, making the most money? Is it about winning, making the most impact on people? Is it about all of it combined?
That's the thing. Everyone tries to, this is what you'll see, especially with public figures, everyone tries to boil their motivations down to one single thing, but we're not simple creatures. You can be motivated by multiple things. And when I say this, it's like weird to some people. I don't know why like this isn't said more, but everyone will be like, that person's motivated by money. But then if you dug deeper under the surface, you'd see, no, actually they're motivated by money, yes, but they also want money so they can take care of their family. They can spoil their kids. Yes. So they're technically motivated by money and family, and they're motivated because, this gives them purpose. Like, if not, they feel depressed when they're not working. And then you'd be like, well, actually, they're motivated by like 6 things, but no one ever goes, that person's motivated by 6 things. And we all like to simplify it like this. So for me, like, yeah, winning is obviously having one of the biggest channels ever. It's also being able to, a lot of my friends and family work for me. It's being able to take for them. It's take care of them. It's being able to take care of all my employees. It's being able to do something that is mentally stimulating and challenging. And I could go on and list 30 reasons why. But the thing is, all 30 of those things point back to winning. Winning allows all of them. But I'm sure some people will hear this and go, okay, he's just motivated by money. Oh, he just cares about numbers, Yeah.
No, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Many things. There are something you said earlier that I know you're really passionate and excited about, which is Beast Games.
Yeah.
And it was a massive hit. It hit all these world records, most viewed show ever on Amazon, all these different things, biggest game show, cash prize, all these different things, right? And you crushed it, and yet you lost money.
Yeah.
You lost money, but you learned so much.
Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from season 1 that you're going to take into the next few seasons?
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, Beast Games is our reality show where we got 1,000 contestants, most contestants of any show in history, double what anyone else had. Learned why. It's a lot to manage that kind of people. Largest cash prize in history, largest sets in history. We're just like, what if you make a reality show, but just we broke almost 50 world records.
Wow.
So but everything is a world record. People loved it, resonated. But it's like, for the show, we built a city. Like, we literally went to a field,
it's
nothing, built a city.
It's crazy.
So I learned a lot about building cities. Obviously, I had never built a city before, so there's a lot of wasted money.
You need this, you need that.
Exactly. And even little things like there are things that were out of our control. Like when we were filming in Toronto, there was the worst rainstorm in 7 years. And so that cost millions of dollars to fix, because it was just like the sets were flooded. Even our ones inside the studios, the water level came up so much that it went in the studios and blah, blah, blah. So there's stuff like that out of your control. But then there's stuff in your control that I'm just ignorant on, like building a city. Some of these sets were, just monstrosity. Like one of our sets was over $10 million,
Holy cow.
Where we had the 1,000 trapdoors at the intro.
So they all drop in?
Yeah, because that's the world record for most trapdoors ever on a set. The world record for most towers on a set. It was like
world record for most people eliminated in a show.
In a single episode, we gave away the most money in episode 1 ever. It was a bunch. And so obviously learned a lot about building 1,000 trapdoors and things like that. So just because there was so many things that had never been done before, it's just kind of like, you don't really know what could go wrong until you do it. So we learned a lot of lessons, and I think hopefully our season 2, I don't know, just cut it out if they tell me. I think I'm allowed to talk about it now. We just wrapped filming season 2. Obviously, did not lose money, and did a lot better job because we learned our lesson, and But it's if you're,
what can people expect for season 2 without giving away?
Bro, I can tell you right off the bat. In season 1, there was a little too much randomness. Like there's some games where it's not the best person moved on. It's like it was a little bit of luck. People didn't like that. As most people were fine with it, but the people who complained were like, I would want to see the person who wins the largest cash prize in history be the person who deserved it, not a person who got lucky in a couple of games. So we made things way more skill based, and then it took like 4 episodes where you really, because we had 1,000 people, where you really got to know and get invested in people. Whereas most shows, like that's what they do episode 1. So so instead of we have less contestants, and this time we're just way more focused on like having you get to know them and get attached to them earlier. Which is kind of obvious in hindsight. So I honestly, like, those are the 2 biggest things. We're just more skill-based, getting to know the contestants more, and besides that, people loved it.
Wow. Season 2 is going to have more money, I'm assuming, too. You probably can't say it, but there's probably going to be more money,
there's
more
a lot of money given away.
A lot of money given away. And did you learn some things for season, hopefully 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like our YouTube videos, you could go back and watch all our videos in reverse order, and you'll see every single video something improves. Every time you make a piece of content, because there's no such thing as perfection, there's always stuff you can learn.
This is a question. We asked you what 10-year in the future self would tell you, what you'd tell your 10-year in the future self.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if you get to, if you get to win at every area of life for the rest of your life, and you get to live as long as you want to live, but for whatever reason, it's the last day on earth, and you've achieved everything. Every dream that you've said you want to accomplish, it happens in the future.
Okay.
Friends, family, love, kids, money, success, it all happens.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, on the last day of your life, way in the future, all of your content is erased.
Oh, God.
Hypothetical.
Oh, you're going to...
Hypothetical.
Okay.
And no one has access to your content anymore. But you get to leave one final message, one final video that they would have access to. And you get to share 3 lessons to the world of everything you've learned.
Yeah.
It could be about money, life, business, anything random or meaningful, whatever. What would that final video be with 3 lessons?
I wouldn't even make it 3. I'd just make it 1, which I think most people need to prioritize more. And it's the reason why I am here. It's what we talked about earlier. You are who you surround yourself with. The 5 people you talk to the most are going to determine how successful you are, how unsuccessful you are. They're like, I went through a stint where I had a couple of friends who were into cars. I bought like a BMW. I hate cars. I ended up selling it. Like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, wow, it's just because people around would just talk about cars a lot. And then I ended up thinking that was cool. I was an 18-year-old, and then I'm 20, and I'm like, why do I own this? Like, I don't care. And it just showed me like, wow, I'm very, very much influenced by the people I'm around. We all are. I'm just very cognizant of it. And I notice when I'm around people more and more, I start to use some of the vocabulary. I start to, people, if we're on like a really long shoot, and it's like day 8, we're 14 hours in, and everyone around starts complaining. I start to complain. I start to get in a headspace where it's like, this isn't fair. This isn't what I want to do with my life. But if I'm around people who are like, yo, let's get it. People are going to love this stuff. We're filming great content. I'm like, let's go. Like, you're not going to outwork me. Bring it on. And so it's just like, really pay attention to who you're around, and like, just accept that they will determine how successful you are. And if, you're cool with being as successful as your 5 friends that you talk to the most, then you're good. But if you want to be an overachiever, it's just not going to happen. Like, if I didn't do that mastermind with 5 other obsessed freaks, and I just hung out with 5 people from my high school, I mean, I would have 5 million subscribers. I mean, I'd be a fraction as successful as I am. It's literally just as simple as that.
Choose the people you surround yourself with wisely as a mastermind of trustful individuals that support you and elevate you. That's what
support and elevate. But honestly, for me, the big thing is surround yourself with other freaks that are obsessed. obsessed. If what you want to be in life, this person thinks about it all day, dreams about it every night, talks about it nonstop, then you got, like, they're helping you, but you're also helping them. It is a mutual beneficial thing. Like, and if you find the 4 most obsessed people in the world that you can get your hands on that topic, and you talk to them every day, and you're around them constantly, there's just no world that the version of you that does that is not exponentially better and further along 2 years later, theoretically, than the version of you who isn't. I mean, it is a monster of a difference, and there's no doubt in my mind. And it's not a thing that requires money. It's not a thing that requires to have a rich father or anything. It is a thing that is fully in your control, and you just got to make it happen.
Absolutely.
You control who you're friends with. You control who you hang around, and you control if you're constantly leveling up that friend group or if you just stay content.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge you one more time before I ask the final question and make sure everyone gets, I'm not going to show the number, but make sure you donate right now. Team Water.
Teamwater.org. Let's go. When this drops, I'm going to be refreshing the new donations. I better see your names.
Let's go.
You guys are rich. I know you're rich.
Exactly. So make sure you make a donation. Teamwater.org. We'll have it linked up everywhere. Use the hashtag TeamWater. Trying to raise $40 million to access for 2 million people to have clean water for decades to come. And again, I want to acknowledge you, Jimmy, for caring deeply about human beings. I know you get a lot of criticism. I know there's some people that are frustrated by your work style sometimes, or your obsession for greatness and like your demands that you have on people. I know there's people that, you know, get frustrated with that sometimes, but you are doing so much good in the world. And I want to acknowledge you for just constantly being driven to create content that serves people, constantly driven to elevate other creators and empower them to get donations for causes as well. Because a lot of creators don't think that way.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for you leading the way. I'm grateful for you.
This stuff makes me so uncomfortable. Thank you.
I'm grateful for you donating your money and caring enough to give a lot of your money away to people. And it's really cool, man. I hope that you do more of this. And if I can support, and School of Greatness and Team Greatness can support in any way, reach out to us. We're a resource for you as well. Obviously, we're not donating as much as you are, but we are here to serve the best way we can for the rich people that watch us.
Yes. Yeah, you're donating, you know, more than you know by telling these guys.
Exactly.
Oh, there's some billionaire watching this that's going to give 100,000 years of clean water to people in need.
Let's go. I want to see who does it.
Okay.
And with that, I have one final question for you.
All right. Final question.
Final question is, what is your definition of greatness?
What is my definition of greatness? I mean, it's what we said before. Like, can someone be successful while being fit and having a great relationship with their kids? I mean, if you have all three of those, really, what else is there, you know?
Yeah, that's great.
Or I guess I would change it from kids to family. Great relationship with your family. And I guess fit to just overall healthy, you know, it's more than just fitness, blah, blah. And then, yeah, successful.
Make sure to follow Mr. Beast on YouTube and everywhere Mr. Beast is. Donate. Jimmy, thanks so much for
thank you for having me. Oh, it wasn't as good as the first one, but we'll take it. All right, I'm taking this check. No tasting vaccines.
That's good, man. That's good.
I'm kidding.
As far as like staying motivated and creative and flow state, all this stuff, it's not easy, and it's not just our art form. You know, this could apply to someone at their job at an insurance company, or whatever your creative thing is, your process is.
How does it make you feel to know that you are literally changing the world through resources, time, money, attention, and yet you get criticized so much as well?
Oh, you're just jumping right into that. It's impossible at this scale to make a piece of content that 100 million people will all conventionally be like, this is perfect. You'll go crazy and quit if you try to make everyone happy.
The most followed individual on social media.
He's the most watched person on YouTube.
Shattering viewership records.
We're talking about Jimmy Donaldson, but you probably know him as Mr. Beast.
You said, do I want to create content that's different than what the algorithm wants? What you're actually asking me is, there every time you want to create content that's different than what people want to watch?
Yes.
And the question is no, because I get joy out of entertaining people. Like, that's why I'm doing this. I don't want to make content people don't want to watch. And maybe, you know, artsy people might see this and be like, and want to throw up. But in my case, like, I deeply enjoy entertaining people.
That's pretty cool.
I don't think people realize just how much effort it took to be here. Like, a lot of people will say it's luck, but it's like, was it luck that I spent 1,000 days in a row analyzing why videos perform better than others? I mean, point to one person who's put 1/10 of the amount of time into this that I have and didn't become successful. The saying is like, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I think the saying should be, it takes 100,000 hours to master something.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your mental or emotional health?
Yeah.
And what is your definition of success then? I want to share a few things that you've done to really change the world in a powerful way.
I'm going to just close my ears. I don't like hearing people talk positively about me. Go for it.
This is what has been done online that I've seen of you. This maybe is different by now, but this is the stats. Over 23 million trees planted with Team Trees. With Team Seas, 33 million pounds of trash removed.
Yep.
With Beast Philanthropy, over 50 million pounds of food, 42 million meals, 7.7 million people fed, many other things that you've done to help people through that. You have over 414 million subs. By the time this comes out, it's probably 450 million subs on YouTube. And with Team Water, You are aiming to raise $40 million to bring clean water access to 2 million people around the world for decades to come.
Yep.
And you do so much good in the world, and yet you get criticized so much as well.
Oh, you're just jumping right into that.
And I read a tweet of yours, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, that said, you know, something along the lines of, there are tons of people that will never volunteer for anything, that will never donate $1, and yet they still criticize me for all the good that I do.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel to know that you are literally changing the world through resources, time, money, attention to serve humanity, and yet people still criticize you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fun one to start off on. I mean, the more I think about it, the thing is, my audience is so big. Like, we get 150, 200 million views a main channel video, which when you think in terms of humans alive, you know, there's 8 billion humans, 1% of that's 80 million. Like, more than 1% of people on the earth, you know, are watching every single video we make. And so it's impossible at this scale to make a piece of content that, you know, 100 million people will all conventionally be like, this is perfect, because there's different cultures, different languages, people are raised differently. So it's more, what I look at is like, what is the percentage of that 100 million that are happy with what I do versus mad? And like, you know, if 99.5% are like, this is amazing, and they're on board, and, you know, it inspires them to go do good, but and only 0.5% are like negative. Well, because my audience is so large, that 0.5% is larger than most people's online following. So it can seem really loud, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, when you look at it percentage-wise, it's really not that big of a deal. So
Right.
I think at the start, like, one of the big ones is we helped 1,000 blind people see again through cataract surgeries, and we did it all around the world. And people are very vocal about that. For whatever reason,
they didn't like it.
Well, they're just like, well, why don't you help them off camera? And I was like, well, we use the videos and the brand deals and ad revenue to do it. Like, I mean, if I didn't make a video on it, we just wouldn't be able to do it, because that's, you know, over the course of our channel, we spent, you know, tens of millions of dollars on helping people. And so, and most people, after I said that, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you have, so it's just looking at it from a percentage standpoint, that helps, but it's still like kind of funny at the same time. But I'm just going to do it. I mean, even if 50% of people complained, I mean, it's just like,
You'd still do it.
yeah, why not?
Does it affect you in any way when you see it, or are you just like, it's part of the game, I understand it, and I'm going to keep doing my thing?
Well, to be fair, not all criticism is invalid. Like, sometimes people would be like, you know, you make these video on helping people, but you don't, this is one I used to get back in the day, but you don't really give the viewers that act like a way to go further on and do more. And like, that is a valid criticism. So now we try to, you know, direct them towards like, here's how you could actually do help. Like, we just recently did a video, we gave 2,000 people prosthetic legs that didn't have legs, so they could walk again. And in the middle, we did a whole segment about how if you know someone who grew out of their prosthetic legs, which is pretty frequent, like if you get one at a young age, you know, through puberty, you're going through multiple different ones. And then people just don't know what to do with the old ones. And there's a clinic who literally takes recycled prosthetic legs, fixes them up, which is like dirt cheap, and then gives them to the poorest of people who can't afford one. So something that would have cost someone $5,000, they can now get for like $100, because it was just something that someone was going to throw away. And so like, that was an example of like, here we're helping people, and then we're also telling the 100 million people watching how they could help. And you know, I mean, it seems obvious in hindsight, but that was a version of people saying things, and I applied it, and it was a net positive. So, you know, it's that's really what you have to do, is like, when you get a bunch of criticism, if you're at my scale, you just look at it. Majority of it is just going to be people hating, because, you know, people are miserable in their own life. They're just going to complain. And so if someone leaves a comment like, you know, you should kill yourself, this sucks, do you even put effort in? That's not an objective comment. That's like a thing that you should read and just be like, okay, like, delete, that was worthless. But if someone is like, hey, here's some ways I think you could improve, or some way you could have, you know, helped people in this situation better, blah, blah, that's like an objective comment, which of the bucket of hate comments is going to be a very small percentage. And those are the ones you look at and you're like, you know, is there truth to this? Yes. Okay. Consider it. If not, throw it out, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
You know?
So you look at some of the criticism or the feedback, and you apply it if it's relevant.
Yeah, I look at all of it with that angle, and because like, at the end of the day, I will never say my videos are perfect. You know what I mean? There's none of us are perfect. Even your podcast probably has ways it could be better. So it's there's no reason not to.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. So you don't take it personally then.
That's back when I was younger, yes, because I've been doing this.
Every comment you're like, I worked so hard.
Yeah. When I started when I was 11. I'm 27 now. So in my teenage years, like, even if someone said something that wasn't objective, like, kill yourself, your videos suck, that would hurt. Like, it would hurt a lot. You know, I'd be like, man, I would think like, I put, you know, 50 hours into this, and no one else is doing things like this, and it would hurt my feelings. But then, you know, after you get that millions of times, it's like a muscle. Like, your brain kind of gets used to that stuff, and you just like, I'm like so numb to it. You could leave the nastiest comment on my YouTube video
doesn't
about me,
matter.
and it's like my brain's just like, it's not objective, delete, and I just move on.
Yeah.
Which part of that is I've just been exposed to it for I've been doing this for more than half my life, so I've just been exposed to so much of it. And the other part is you just eventually realize like it just is pointless. Like it like, you know, you're never going to make everyone happy, and so you just figure out where the line is, and if you're content and happy with it, and majority of people who watch it are happy with the piece of content you put out, what else can you do? You know what I mean? You'll go crazy and quit if you try to make everyone happy.
For the younger creators who look at you as an inspiration, because millions of people do, probably billions of people do, and who want to be like you or want to create their own YouTube channel and create content in some way, what advice would you give to them if they're getting lots of negative criticism, or if they're getting personal attacks about the way they look or the way they speak? Maybe not just, you're an idiot, die, but like, oh, you look ugly.
Yeah.
Or you sound like a dummy. Like, what advice do you
Oh,
have?
I'm the perfect one for that. Because when I was a teenager, I had horrible acne. I mean, I still have some acne scars on my forehead from it because no one told me not to pick my pimples. In hindsight, don't pick your pimples. It's obvious, but no one told me that. I had horrible acne, and I was so awkward. I couldn't speak in coherent sentences. I mean, it's a miracle that I'm the #1 YouTuber in the world. If you look at 15-year-old me, no one on the planet would have ever guessed I'd even be 1%.
That's going to be the guy.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, truthfully, it's just you can't be someone you're not. But you also are who you hang around. And so as I've hung around more normal humans and less data nerds, I've learned how to form a sentence and not just speak in retention charts, which, you know, because at that point in my life, everyone I was around was just hardcore studying YouTube and studying thumbnails. And now, you know, because I have hundreds of employees, I have more exposure to people who actually go outside and live normal lives. And so I'm more up to date with certain things like that. So, yeah, usually like do what you can, work out, get lean. You know, for me with the acne, I took Accutane, and then once you do what you can, I mean, it just is what it is. You know, like my teeth could be better, or my hair, you know, like whatever. There are random things that could be, but at that point, just ignore it. It's because there's nothing you can really do about it.
Is there any strategies you had around navigating either the mental or emotional side of the critiques, like that you would give to younger audience, as opposed to just get jacked, get lean?
Yeah, no, it's what I was saying earlier. It's just, is it objective, and is it something in your control? Then consider it. But you know, most criticism's not, and you just have to learn to filter it out and ignore it. Like that's just the big part. Like it's easier said than done. It took me probably close to a decade to form that mental toughness, but like you should be able to read a non-objective comment like, I hate you, you suck, and just feel nothing in a perfect world and move on, because having an emotional reaction to that does nothing for you. You know what I mean? And like, fine, if you have theoretically, you know, if you're getting 100,000 views a video and you're getting 300 negative comments, right? Assuming you make a good video.
Small percentage.
Yeah, then of that 300, filter out the 250 that are probably just bullshit. And then the 50 that are actually objective, consider them, because no video is perfect, and there's lots of you should take from both sides of the spectrum. Your most hardcore fans that love you, you should see what they have, which is probably going to be something more like, hey, we want more personality, things like that people who like you would say. And then you should also take feedback from the people who hate you the most, because they still